Villanova, we believe in community and in ourselves. We create, adapt, discover. And when confronted by uncertainty, we don't stand idly by. We never have. We get involved, lead by example, even when things are tough. Especially when things are tough. We take action because Villanovans are like that. Stronger together. Ignite change. Go Nova.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to some more EGF Rocket League. I am Septilence, making my ever so triumphant return, even though I'm sure many of you probably didn't even notice I was gone, but I am back here with Jag to bring you Villanova versus the University of Delaware. And while there are 7 games listed for today, one of them, as of like 10 minutes ago, just got canceled. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. But first, let's talk about Delaware versus Villanova, because this is like the David and Goliath story. Villanova,
Right.
They've been more near the bottom of the table for most of this tournament. Currently, they have a record of 4-9. And Delaware, you just saw that awesome video about their esports center. They are at the tippy top. They are the cream of the crop. They are doing so well. 12-1. Have only lost 1 game through 2 splits. So coming into this game, there's a lot going right for them. Villanova, they're going to have to put up, I'm going to steal something from you, a Herculean task to win this game.
I absolutely love to say that. Defeating the University of Delaware would be a Herculean task, to say the least. And I don't like to call things impossible, but this is going to be very, very difficult for Villanova. The University of Delaware, they bring the heat in Rocket League every single week. They really try their best to put on the shows that they can, and hopefully they're able to put, a point on board. We talked about this earlier. This could be a very one-sided game. There is that possibility.
There is, but there is hope if you're a Villanova fan.
Of course.
Not everything is lost just yet. Villanova had their first win of the spring split last week. Their first win since week 8 all the way back in the fall against Niagara, a clean 3-0 sweep. So they have a little bit of momentum going in their favor. The one thing, though, is that Niagara, one of the lower teams in the standings, so it's not anything to write home about, but a win's a win's a win.
Of course, a win is a win. I love the name, I Know I'm a Horsey. That is quite comedic to me. But it looks like we're going to see a pretty aggressive lead, or a pretty aggressive start coming out from Villanova here. Delaware trying to find anything off the back of it. But instead, it might be Grau able to score 18 seconds off the clock. That's already going to be a point on board for Delaware.
We didn't see the opening kickoff, but we did see kind of how that play developed. It looks like Villanova, they had some movement with the ball. They were able to get it out of their zone, but then they were too aggressive. They had everyone go on the attack. They had no one there on the defense, and although they had a defender tap the ball at the end, didn't stop it, just helped it go in, if anything.
Yeah, definitely the final nail in the coffin there. And I know Horsey goes for a great block, but we almost saw a goal right underneath it. They jump up, they block the one, and when they are not able to block the second, it looks like we're going to see the ball stolen straight away. Villanova, they're definitely struggling just a little bit here, but we're going to see a couple of these players really start to juggle the ball around back and forth.
We're going to see Victor does with the ball up once again, and just is going to dribble it all the way in with an aerial. That's just the play that we expect from Delaware. They look so confident going for those high-risk, high-reward plays, and no one really contested them until the very end. That was almost second goal very quickly.
That was almost a free goal. That was like last second you could have possibly interacted, and then I know I'm a horse who's able to find that defense. And something Delaware is already doing that, to me personally, indicates a strong Rocket League team is their aerial game. They are juggling in air, they're playing the ball in the air, because with the teams that are maybe a little bit lower ranks or maybe a little bit more unfamiliar with the 3v3 matchup, the ball's always on the ground. But Delaware already, I think the ball's been in the air more than it's been on the ground.
Yeah, it has been again. Overcommitment leaves the goal wide open. That's going to be Victor.
It's a free one.
Second one. Yeah, it is. It's free real estate, that once.
It really is. That was Vixa just got to knock that in from half court there, and they're able to really...
Full field. I think that was all the way back on their end.
I said court, didn't I? Yeah, okay, half field. But the University of Delaware, that's 2, pretty much freebies. The first one came out super fast. Vixa able to score off of an over-aggression coming out from the opposing team. And Brown now trying to find another goal. We're going to see a little bit of a block coming out from Villanova.
The other thing that was that for Villanova, they have gotten offense going. It's just that they lose those aerials. They just lost another one. That was a great tackle to steal the ball away. And if they can, win those 50-50s in the air, if they can keep the ball moving, it gives them a great chance to score. But so far, as soon as they touch it, it feels like there's always going to be a player from Delaware to try to get the ball back. And there again, it's the 50-50. That time it works out in their favor a bit. Now they get the ball moving, but immediately gets counterattacked every single time the ball's stolen back.
Yeah, and something of note that I find quite interesting is you talking about how Villanova, their VU, they're dropping their aerials, and I don't think we've seen Delaware drop an aerial yet. You know, other than missing goal, they've really been keeping the ball in the air, and I talked about already, I think that's the #1 sign of a strong team, is having those aggressive aerials and playing them well. And if VU isn't able to clean up their aerials, this could be a shutout, so they're really going to have to figure out how to play in air just a little bit more, and Grau going to be able to find a second one there. Already 3 points on board for Delaware as we aren't quite into halftime, just about 8 seconds away.
No, Horsey again goes for the demo, doesn't play the ball, plays the player instead on the other team, and if that had been in like 2-3 seconds earlier, it would have been a great demolition coming up to stop a goal, but
yeah, for sure.
It's not. Already 3 on the board. Delaware, they're looking to make this a pretty good first matchup for them. Haven't had a lot of pressure on their side of the field just yet, even though Villanova has been able to move the ball at some point. Just like, here it is, they get it to mid, and they get it further than that. It looks like they do for the time being. This is a great setup, but then it's stolen away. You saw the setup there, Seth. Almost a great cross.
Yeah, the setup was super clear. We saw it. I mean, the proof was in the pudding. They were going to be able to get it, and then they just kind of gave it up. Grau got to jump up, smack the ball away, and tear that entire setup apart. So Delaware, they're in that comfortable position that I always talk about where you don't have to score anymore. Like, the next 2 minutes, Delaware does not have to score. They just have to make sure that VU doesn't. And of course, that's easier said than done. But at the same time, they can definitely kick their brains a little bit further into that full gear in terms of defense, rather than playing that 50 offense, 50 defense.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. You can park the bus a little bit. You can be more defensive-centric, but the biggest worry is if you get complacent with a lead, that sometimes you can give it up very quickly. I wouldn't say just, like, stop attacking, but it doesn't have to be as aggressive. It doesn't have to be as...
It doesn't have to be your focus the same way it did at that 0-0.
Yeah, your lead's great, but now your goal's wide open, and that's going to be one going back to Villanova. It's a 3-1 lead, and I think I cast or cursed them a little bit there, Seth, just because, you know, they just got just a little hesitant, just a little bit too comfortable there. It's 1-3.
There was nothing they could have done.
There's still time for Villanova to tie this up before an overtime period.
Yeah, we're looking at, I mean, what, over 45 seconds per goal to tie things up, so that's definitely an option here. And we saw a little bit of complacence coming from Delaware. You definitely hit that nail right on the head. They just left their goal wide open. Maybe got a little bit overconfident. They almost did it again there, at least how it seemed for just a moment, but they're able to set themselves up in the blink of an eye. A setup coming through, and I know I'm a horsey trying to play that defense. It looks like Grau going to be able to throw it right over. Brooks going to get super aggressive on the side of the field, trying to set up for a goal as well, with 60 seconds left on the clock. VU, they've got to score not once, but twice to tie things up, 3 times to take the win here. It looks like, another great block coming out from I know I'm a horsey, who really has shown great promise on this defense. We just need to see the same consistency on the offense.
Yeah, what I love, though, for Villanova is that they're not playing everyone in goal. That's a strategy that you see a lot of teams try to implement. It never works out. They're playing different angles. They're being aggressive while still leaving someone behind as the last line of defense. They're able to get the ball back, but like you said, time is dwindling. They had a minute and a half. Now they only have 30 seconds. It's going to be tough, but they do get a good demo.
Yeah, demo onto Grau there. So very brief 2v3 in favor of VU. Riles goes for the goal, but Feeb gonna just be able to find it. So Riles was trying to knock it off goal. He was able to follow up off the back of it and just put a fourth final nail in the coffin, and that is gonna pretty much secure Delaware this first round win. I don't think we're gonna see VU score 3 times in 20 seconds. That would be that'd be quite the task.
It would be quite a effort, quite a sight to behold. But yeah, Riles there. I'm not exactly sure what the plan was. I think they were trying to clear it out, but they hit it at the wrong angle, and it looks like the perfect pass from a Delaware player. But fortunately, Riles is not playing for Delaware. They're playing for Villanova, so a bit of an own goal assist there. That's gonna give Delaware that last point. That's definitely gonna seal the deal here. It is a first to 3, so still a lot more Rocket League we played out in the series. But I gotta say, Villanova, despite the score being a little bit more lopsided near the end, 4-1, not the best, but you're able to get a goal. You're able to stay pretty competitive, especially in mid. I think the biggest thing is just better ball control and not giving it up as much, and that could really get them into this series.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And something to take note of as well is Villanova didn't necessarily have as much possession of the ball, but when you consider that Delaware shot on goal 14 times and Villanova only shot twice, I mean, if you shoot 14 times, you're more likely to score more because, you've got a larger pool to work with there, but only going for goal twice. I mean, that, not that it's necessarily their fault, but maybe that over-aggression needs to just be coming out a little bit more consistently. They can't let Delaware keep interrupting their combos and their setups.
I think the thing is that for Villanova, they got to find a good in between of not too aggressive where you're leaving your side of the field completely open, because we saw 2 goals at the beginning which were very much wide open. There's really no chance of defense because they all committed to go too far forward. But you also can't just play defense the entire time. You can't just be on your net. And I think they made some good individual plays. You can tell, like, even though they aren't playing the ball as much in the air, that they do have a great understanding of the game. You saw that there are some great setups. I think it was just, you know, a team like Delaware, they're going to read that like a book. They see it's coming. They know how to stop it. So Villanova, they're going to have to try to come up with some stuff that might not be as well known. You know, try to come up with some new grooves here and there, but definitely not out of the series just yet as we go into the first 10 seconds of the game. And now it's going to be Grau taking the ball in, going to be blocked out.
Yeah, looks like we're not going to be seeing a goal as quickly. Last time Grau was able to find that first goal for Delaware in 18 seconds, so as that ticks away, now it's going to be tied up, moving into that 4.5-minute marker, so coming up on 30 seconds off the clock. Brooks goes for an early goal as well, with Vixa is going to be able to block it there. A great demo from Vixa, finding I know I'm a horsey. I might just start calling them horsey for brevity's sake, but now Vixa going to go for goal once again. Ryle's able to find the block, so a couple of times we've now seen 2 shots on goal from both teams.
Oh, it's going to go in though! Horsey with the angle, and that's going to be Grau. That's going to give up the ball. Steve goes in too. That's 2 players from Delaware who tried to stop that shot from going in. Vixa third. So everyone from Delaware got a piece of that goal that Villanova ended up getting in. Horsey, as you said, looked very consistent in that last game. Had to do a little bit more on both sides of the ball there. They're able to get their attack going, and Villanova are going to have their first lead of the series.
Yeah, Villanova, they find an early lead, a minute off the clock already. You know, they definitely want to score at least one more time to really give them that comfort zone, because, of course, if Delaware scores, it's going to be tied up 1-1. So Villanova could take a real comfortable lead here just in terms of 2. I think that could really give them, of course, an even better platform to be standing on. But now Delaware going to be trying to interrupt that setup, as they always love to do. And I know I'm a horsey is going to miss a goal. We also see Villanova, they've left that goal wide open. Now Riles is going to be able to send it back down, but off the side of the goal there. No, it looks like it's going to be knocked in by Grau.
And one thing I mentioned before about Villanova's defense, they didn't overcommit on goal. There they did. There you see all 3 of the players are in the exact same position, approaching from different angles. They're all playing for where the ball is currently instead of where the ball might go, which is why you need to leave someone, you know, on rotation, leave someone who's got speed, who can try to make sure that that follow-up shot doesn't go in. But now Brooks, very slow, actually had a great opportunity to take the lead once again, just didn't have the speed to get a good shot off there. Villanova, they're definitely looking good. Almost gave up a goal, so it's back and forth. It's just all over the place right now, which is, I think, better for Villanova considering how much control Delaware had in that last and first matchup of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Delaware, like we said, 4-1, not an easy thing to do. And Villanova looking a little bit rough, but perhaps they were just getting all warmed up. They were able to win last week. Maybe they've really been putting in the work, watching those VOD reviews, which is arguably the #1 way to get better. And they really are trying to find the efforts here to put Delaware kind of shaking them in their boots a little bit. I know I'm a horsey goes a little bit too low on that shot, knocks it up into the crossbar, and they're not able to follow up on it yet. So we almost saw another shot coming from a side of Delaware, but there's going to be another block. Oh my goodness. I mean, this could not, what is that, 4 blocks in a row coming from the side of VU?
Yeah, they've done a great job at keeping this net clean for the time being. They did let up 1 earlier, but now they're not overcommitting. Now they're able to take different angles, and now they're moving the ball down the field. Just as I say, that Vixa, though, isn't a win. That aerial toss-up, going to get the ball back, and Delaware going to be back on the offense.
Oh, it looks like Grau trying to find that corner shot, but not going to be able to pick it up. Brooks playing more defensive than ever. Honestly, Villanova already looking like a brand new team from what we saw in that last round. Like, this has really been a much more consistent game for them to score. Still tied up, and they're not being shut out, 3-1, 4-1. They're definitely bringing the heat much more aggressively than we've seen from them so far today.
The thing was that the last game wasn't a real shutout. If it was 4-0, I feel like that really demotivates you going into the second or third matchup. But getting that 1 goal, getting something going on attack, it's just really, really special, really strong, really helps your mental fortitude. But now they're trying to make sure they don't give up another one. That's great battles. Now we're seeing that they're actually contesting in the air. We didn't really see that in the first one, but there you saw them go all the way up, try to make sure that shot didn't get off. It did. They don't let it in regardless.
I thought of that very same thing, or I talked about that very same thing, excuse me. I know I'm a horsey, going to help Villanova find another comfortable lead, and I talked about that early on, how Delaware, they were playing those aerial games, they were getting super aggressive, and then Villanova, they were playing the ground game, but you called it out perfectly, they're fighting those aerials now, so Villanova really trying to bring out a much more aggressive defense, which is exactly what I said they needed to do.
And the other thing that I'm noticing is that Delaware, they kind of swapped out their style. Remember that Villanova, they were using a lot of demos. Delaware, they've used a ton of demos, and they haven't found value off of any of them. they've tried doing it once they get onto the other side of the field, once they are the attackers, once they're on offense, and it just never seems to work out. It seems like every time they do it, it actually helps Delaware kind of stabilize and regroup. So they might want to try using less of those. That is actually going to be coming out from Riles, and well, right now, it's not where Delaware wants it to be.
Yeah, I think Villanova, I think you may have touched on this briefly just a moment ago. They're trying to play the aerial game, which I commend them for. Absolutely, you want to put that aggression on, but you can't play somebody at a game that they are consistently better than you at. And that's not an insult to Villanova, but Delaware's aerial gameplay is nothing short of very, very impressive. So I think Villanova may actually have an opportunity if they play on the ground a little bit more consistently like that. Riles knocks ball in right off the ground there, does not take it up at all. And I mean, Villanova, they're ready to turn this around on Delaware.
It got a little bit of air. It definitely wasn't all the way up near the roof, but it did. You get a little bit of a bounce right off the turf there. And this is looking like the opposite of last game. Delaware is down 3-1.
Flip.
And yeah, it's completely been flipped. So if Villanova gets one where it'll be the exact opposite, the exact same result going the other way. But things are looking very good for Villanova, and the fact that they are already looking to take one game off of our reigning first place seed would be huge. And if Villanova somehow is able to win this, I mean, the way that standings could be affected, there could be ripple effects going through the top 5.
Yeah, there could be massive changes coming through the top 5 that Villanova can play as consistently as they have here in the second game. And the bonus of this second game is this is guaranteed us a fourth between these two schools, and it is that best of 3, so one of these teams is going to have to win 3. We could, of course, go all the way up to that game 5, which we know and love very well, but of course, we got to get through game 2 to make that happen. With 13 seconds left, this is all but over for the University of Delaware. They would have to do the impossible to score 2 times in the next 6 seconds. It looks like they're not even going to score one more time. 4 seconds left on clock. Rao trying to find maybe something, just a final elimination, a final blow there, but no, unfortunately, nothing's going to be coming through. The ball will hit the ground, and Villanova, they're able to tie up our game score 1-1.
And you and I were talking about the docket that we have today, and we mentioned this at the top of the broadcast. Unfortunately, Georgetown in Colorado is not going to happen due to some scheduling issues, so there will be a break. But if this game, goes longer than the allotted time, it's totally fine because we have a space there anyway. Yeah, exactly. It worked out perfectly. And just going back to the schedule, we thought that the other 2 games we're covering today could be really close. This is a game that we did not expect to be going past 3 matches, but here we are. 1-1 after 2. Villanova are able to strengthen their game. They do play the aerial a bit more, but like you said, their ground game is still very, very strong. Don't have to get too far off the ground, Just make sure that you're finding the right angles, finding the right shots, finding good passes. There, they did all of those things and had a much more solid defense, as well as didn't give up the ball nearly as much. I thought that Delaware did a great job of getting great tackles, bumps, nudges, whatever you want to call them. Were able to get the ball right back, but that time, Villanova, they had just better protection of it. They were able to get it out quicker, able to pass a bit quicker, and because of that, there they are. And going into match 3, there's a real reality where they could win this series.
Absolutely, and like you said, that would have a massive ripple effect on those top standings as well. And something to consider that is nice about Rocket League is while we may go into extra games, the bright side is overtime isn't necessarily what it is in other games. In Overwatch and Valorant, overtime could literally go forever, or an extra map could tie and you go even longer. But Rocket League games, they have to come to an end. So that's definitely an interesting thing as well. When it kicks into that overtime, that timer will keep burning until somebody scores. But it's definitely not as long as other games overtimes.
Yeah, golden goal. Only one. First person to get it, it's done. I mean, we've seen Rocket League games go overtime for a few minutes, but I feel like generally they end actually in the first 30 seconds because someone gets a really good kickoff and goes in there. Speaking of a good kickoff, Delaware looking to strike early once again. They were able to do it the first game. Second game, they actually gave up the first 4. They only got 1 back, and they never had a lead in that second game. Just realizing that at best they were tied.
Yeah, they've definitely had a tie. They never had a lead there, so that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Is Delaware, they started off rough in that second game, and then they were never really able to pick their feet back up. Every time they stood up, the U was able to knock them back down. So we saw a lack of aggression coming out from Delaware, and I think coupled with the fact that VU came out stronger than ever, definitely not a good look for Delaware. But now maybe they've got to change some things up. Maybe they've got to reconsider their strategies, and maybe they went into game 1 a little bit too, or game 2 a little bit too confident. Maybe they were just looking for some cheekier plays, or just a couple of misplays led to a score for Villanova, or maybe Villanova's finally getting warmed up. There are so many possibilities here on why this score could be what it is, but tied up 1-1 in games, one of these teams does get to take the lead within these next 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah, already a minute 20 off the clock. No one has scored yet, so this is the longest we've gone without that first goal. Yeah, it's a bit of a slow burner, but that could have been the first one right there. Now just going to go right off the crossbar. And that's a double demo. That's a 3-on-1, but they can't capitalize. He was able to keep the ball away long enough.
Oh,
They almost hit the first one there. Delaware with these amazing plays.
That was almost a disaster for Villanova. They had it 3-1, but I mean, we just saw great ball possession, great ability to keep the ball ready for your team, and the 3v1 did not end in favor of Villanova like you'd think it would. And of course, the respawn time around that's pretty stinking quick. You've only got a couple of seconds to take advantage of it. But Grau rolls the ball all the way into that goal, but unfortunately rolls just a little bit too far off to the side and is not going to fall in quite yet. We now have over 2 minutes off the clock and nobody has scored. This is really getting deep into the timer without a single point on board.
Yeah, this could end up being a 1-0 match in overtime for all we know. So far, defense has been the name of the game. Delaware has been on the attack a lot more. That's something to keep
Yeah,
in
very
note.
much so.
And as soon as, of course, the net say that, it goes down the other side of the field. But that's just really been the only opportunity for Villanova, and they almost are able to barely have it go in and just run right off the side. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, Septulence.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I couldn't have said that better. Sometimes it is better to be lucky than it is to be good, because sometimes Lady Luck is on your side, and you get some pretty crazy goals, especially here in Rocket League. You know, we see that sometimes somebody bumps the ball, and then like 12, 15 seconds later, it rolls into goal, and they're like, oh, all right. But, you know, we definitely need to be seeing something come from these players. Third minute, about to be burned off the clock here. I've been casting Rocket League for maybe 5-6 months, and it's not going to happen here, so this sentence is now irrelevant. But I was going to say, I've only seen one game go into a 0-0 overtime, but it looks like that's not going to be happening. Here's Brooks for Villanova, just able to tap the ball into goal there and give Villanova a lead.
And Thief had a great play earlier to deny a 3-on-1, but there just didn't have a good defense. The ball was right on them. They just kind of nudged it and they tried backing up. I think they were too scared about like hitting it in themselves, but in the end it still goes in regardless. Villanova, they had a bit of an attempt there. They went for another demo, but now the ball is going back. And I think you're starting to see that Delaware is getting a little bit more desperate.
Yeah.
They are one of the best teams here, no doubt, even if they lose this game today, but it's not looking good. There it's looking a lot better. We'll be able to bring one back.
Yeah, just a great shot there. So the crossbar, I really didn't think that was going to go in. I thought it was going to bounce off the top, but somehow, some way, bounces straight down into goals to Delaware. And to tie things up, 1:40 left on the clock. One of these teams has got to score, right? We cannot end here on a tie.
Yeah, so maybe we go into 1-1 overtime. Maybe one team is able to break it and hold the lead until the very end. But they're just great ball control by Thief to get that tying goal. It's basically 0-0.
Oh, no.
Don't leave their goal wide open. They're able to get the rotation, and Thief now looking for maybe number 2.
Yeah, Thief going to try to find a second, and Grau was able to block the goal there for just a moment, keeping things alive. Vixen now going to go for that high goal, but it's going to be blocked up by Riles. Goes for the setup here for Grau. It's going to knock it forward, and Thief going to miss the engagement shot into goal. So now the ball rolling back toward the goal of Delaware, and Grau trying to turn things around once again. These setups just being interrupted by their opponents time and time again. Whether it be Villanova or Delaware with the ball, the other team is ready to interrupt these setups. 60 seconds now left on the clock. And these teams, I think we're going to start seeing a lot of desperation moves come out. All these people just want to score.
Yeah, and the biggest difference between this matchup and the second one was that Villanova has barely had any attack before. They got so many more opportunities. They get a demo there, but that respawn is going to be close enough where it's a 3-on-3. They've only had really like 1 or 2 good pushes. That one of them led to a goal, but they need more than that. But they do get another demo there. Can't find the follow-up. They go for the aerial. They miss. That's going to go off the crossbar. But can they get a third attempt? They can. It's I'm a Horsey who's able to break that tie. You saw there 1, 2. Here's the third attempt, you know, 3 strikes and you're out. There's a few other Threes Company references I could make there. There's a lot of threes.
Rules of 3, right?
Yeah, able to get it done.
Yeah, we see Villanova, they're able to get things done there and score up. 30 seconds left. So Delaware, I mean, it's not difficult to score in 30 seconds here in Rocket League, depending on the matchup and how consistent your team can play. So Delaware, they could definitely score within these next couple of seconds, but I feel the way we've been seeing them perform so far tonight, that's going to be a difficult task. Let's see, we're going to see a little bit of an open goal here for Thief, but a great demo and a block coming through from Riles now is going to keep that ball in the air. 6 seconds left on goal. Brooks able to knock the ball back just a bit. I know I'm a Horsey with the ball possession, going to be able to knock it just far out of goal. Looks like it's going to be just out of reach here for Thief, and that timer does not technically hit 0 until the ball touches the ground. So the ball will remain live until it touches down, and Grau just not letting it go down quite yet. Does he find a goal? Okay, it's going to be blocked from I know I'm a Horsey. That was great ball control coming out from Grau there, but unfortunately just not good enough.
Yeah, that was almost a huge misplay by Villanova. They do take this one. They go to match point. This could be the upset of a century here, Septulence, but I thought they were going to try to, like, you know, throw the ball straight into the ground, just make sure it hits. But instead, they kind of just moved it to the side and kept it up in the air. So, not sure if that was just a bit of a mistiming or what happened there. But here's another thing that surprises me. Besides just like not having the best defense at the end, is the shots are a lot closer than I expected. Actually, it's 7-9 with Delaware leading, but they're not converting as much. But it looked like that for the most part, Villanova really couldn't get down the field, but they were still able to get enough shots. They were able to convert into goals to get a win. It's a very close victory, the closest margin of victory we've seen tonight. Only a 1-goal differential, but it's going to put Villanova on match point. This is huge for them.
Yeah, no, honestly, you guys know that I love rooting for the underdog, so nothing against the University of Delaware, but I would love to see Villanova come through and roll this, right? They're coming into that momentum of last week. They're going to lose that first game just a little bit shaky, but now comes down to the wire. This is their game point. If they lose this one, that pushes us all the way into game 5, which is not a problem because there is that break in the schedule for us today. So if they want to take it all the way to game 5, I mean, the more the merrier at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Sudden Death Rocket League is some of the most exciting Rocket League because you know it's all or nothing. Those teams are going to go big or go home. Not quite yet. This is match number 4. Villanova could put it away here, or Delaware could tie things up and force that magical game 5. Delaware, again, going to start off very well on the attack, but just haven't been able to find their footing the same way they did in the first matchup.
Yeah, not able to find their footing like that first matchup even a little bit so far. And I know I'm a horsey with 2 great goals, but Grau, like you said, 1 and 2 didn't work, but Grau going to come through with that 3rd attempt. So we're going to see the block. Nixa's going to get blocked once, and then Riles gets another block, and then Grau able to find the ball there. So unfortunately, unfortunately for VU, Delaware is going to get that early lead. And last time they got an early lead like that, they absolutely dominated the matchup 4-1. Villanova got to get it back in full gear.
You do, and you also got to be defending the goal better if you're going to stay in it like Brooks was there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just played it so slowly. Had the right angle at one point, but didn't actually go for the ball, so that immediately got out, like, kind of played by the speed of the shot that came through. There is going to be a great aerial, though, that's going to put the ball back onto Delaware's side of the field, but now we need Villanova to have that ball control, and they
Riles.
almost left it wide open. They do, and I think that might have been a bit of an own goal. We're going to see the replay there.
It was almost entirely Riles. They roll the ball right into center field. They hand it off to Phoebe there, and unfortunately that was Riles and Horsey more than it was anybody on Delaware. That was very unfortunate to say the least.
We saw this before, I think, actually in match 1. They had a very similar play where they just boot the ball all the way back or pass up the ball all the way back into their side of the field. That time they just controlled it. They dribbled it. It was a great dribble. Would have been a great goal if it had been on the other end. And now they're down at a 2-0 lead, and that match 5 looks more realistic than it ever has been so far.
Yeah, absolutely. That match 5 really does look realistic. And Villanova, of course they want to win. They want to shake up those seed placements, and they really want to show Delaware that they can't always be the best. But, you know, even if they lose, you're taking 2 games on Delaware. That's phenomenal.
It is. It's a great moral victory, especially after getting your first win of the spring split last week. But you don't want to play for moral victories. Not this deep in the season. Oh, this might be a 3rd one. It is. Grau going to be able to get their 2nd of this matchup. Moral victories, I mean, like, it's just so late. Like, you need to get a real victory. You know, you need to get numbers in the W column, especially with the conference championships not too far around the corner.
Coming. They are on their way very soon. Just like you said, as nice as a moral victory feels, you know, we took 2 games on Delaware. You want to take 3, right? You want to get your name on that board. You want to take that victory here today. Delaware is, 3.5 minutes. They've already scored 3 times. This is the kind of dominant performance I expected from the very start. To see that coming out in game 4, it's pretty surprising to see that it really took them this long to get in full swing.
Yeah, you just fall asleep on the gas sometimes, right? You know, all those long drives at night. Sometimes you just get tuckered out. Sometimes you might underestimate your opponent and let the game get out of your hands. But that's almost going to be it is actually. Got blocked by the demo for a second. But like you said, the hat trick. And Grau, again, just great vision, great precision, and great dribbling to get that 3rd goal. 4th overall for Delaware. And there's still 3 minutes on the clock, but this is the most one-sided that we've seen this series be.
No doubt, and I think the most unfortunate thing about that is the trajectory that I know I'm a horsey was on. They would have hit the ball had they not demoed Grau there. So that was definitely just a series of unfortunate events, I think, and the demo kind of shook things up. It made them take a little bit longer to get through, and cost them that extra goal there for Delaware, 4-0 now. So very reminiscent of that first game that we saw between these two schools today. It was 4-1 in that final score. Beeb goes for another one, but I know I'm a horse to be able to find that block on goal. Now they'll be able to send it back into midfield, but once we're going to see Delaware, they've already got possession of it once again. Ryle's going to break that up a little bit and hands the ball right to Grau in the process. A lot of trading back and forth between these two teams.
And I think right now, if you're Delaware, you just got to keep going for goal. Your lead is big. There is still time, like technically, for a comeback, but it's going to be difficult. Oh, almost one on goal there for Villanova. But I think the biggest problem from that first matchup is you let up too much near the end, and that didn't work out. And now you're going to let one through. This is the exact same score as that first matchup, and we know how that went to Villanova. All things said and done for where we are now. But still, I think you just got to keep scoring. Like, I mean, sometimes it can be seen as just running up the score is not a good thing, but this is a very competitive matchup. So just get as many as you can, you know, put your opponents on edge and make them feel the heat.
Yeah, 4-1, a score we are all too familiar with. That was the final score of the of that first matchup that we saw today between these two schools. And now 2 minutes left on the clock. BU, they could come back, but it does feel, you know, seemingly super difficult against a school that has been as consistent as Delaware in this matchup specifically.
And I think one thing about Villanova to think about is that Brooks might actually be a new roster member or someone that they're trying out on this roster for the first time. Like, that's information that we're getting from our producer. I personally have not casted Villanova this season, so I'm not sure about that. But I mean, if that's true, whatever they're doing, it's working, right? Like this new member coming in, I mean, they're giving themselves a great chance right now. Again, I don't think this matchup is going to go their way, but there's still another match 5, that tiebreaker, that deciding game that's going to be on the horizon immediately after this. So you get 1 or 2 more, bring things a lot closer, that gives you momentum. If Delaware continue to run up the score, that gives them momentum. So it's all about where that pendulum swings and what you can do to make sure it goes your way.
Absolutely, and BU, they've got 60 seconds left on the clock, so you're going to want to bring your 110%, no matter if you win or lose the round. You want to try to score as many times as possible if you can. And Brooks going to look for a double tap here, but Vic's are going to be able to interrupt the setup. 50 seconds left on the clock, and VU, they lose this one, but that game 5, like you said, just over the horizon.
Around the corner, that's going to be a demo, and looks like Delaware is looking for a little bit more. Horsey, though, is going to have a great block, and that goal is wide open. Just didn't have enough power to put it all the way through. Just went for the block, not the shot, and those are opportunities you're going to want back later on. 30 seconds left, and it's looking like Delaware all the way.
Yeah, Delaware going to be able to win a second game of their own. That'll take us to that 5th and 5, that coveted 5th matchup between these two schools. So University of Delaware, they kind of dropped the ball a little bit, pun intended, and they start to lose a little bit up against VU, but now they're going to be able to bring it back in this 4th round. Got to go all the way to number 5, and then they've got to win that one as well. Got to hope they can keep this momentum.
Yeah, but it's going to be, it is a hope because obviously this game did not go your way at all. The 2 games that you've lost were the least close of the series. The ones that you won were a lot closer. So I think that, you know, maybe makes you a little bit more uncomfortable going into this last matchup. But I mean, you just got to play like you did the second one. The second one was by far their best game, and it was the one where they had the most balance of offense and defense. Most of even the third game that they won, it was just a lot of defense and then just a few great counterattacks. I think they just need to keep being aggressive, keep pressing. And again, make sure there's someone that can rotate for defense if you give up the ball, because although the ball control has gotten a little bit better and they're not giving up as many freebies and they're not getting tackled as much and losing possession, still got to just have that last line of defense just in case something goes wrong.
Absolutely. And something that I want to point out as well, Villanova, 4 shots on goal, and we're looking at 11 from Delaware. So we definitely see that unusual matchup again. Delaware shooting on goal almost 3 times more than Villanova, and Villanova really started to succeed when they were shooting on goal, when they were bringing the pressure, when they fought for the ball possession. They didn't do that in that last matchup, and like you said, no doubt the most dominant that we've seen, you know, all day from Delaware. They really had a great lead. They scored 4 times in 2 minutes, and then they really just coasted from there. So Villanova, they've got to kick it up to the 110% again if they want to take this.
Yeah, and again, like, I really wish that Delaware is being a bit more attentive near the end. Like, you don't want to, like, run up the score because, I mean, still Villanova is playing really close. You don't want to take too many risks, but I think getting 5 or 6 goals there would make them feel really confident going for this. And I'm sure they still feel pretty confident after battling back to force this match number 5, but so far, you're usually just, like, immediately on the get-go attack. They immediately get the ball, but this is actually Villanova kind of battling it out. It's a bit more 50-50 so far. That's going to be a wide open net, but
he
just
can't
has
follow
to
up
find
fast
the angle.
enough. No, off the top. That would have been a huge first goal immediately for Villanova, but I know I'm a horse. He was not able to find the setup, and now the block from Vixa going to be able to keep the score at 0-0. And the goal, no, Grau with the follow-up, able to find a goal for the University of Delaware instead. VU, they've got to be beating themselves up after that one, because that was just so many unfortunate things back to back.
And what did I keep telling them, Seth? What did I keep saying? Make sure that you've got someone who can get back for defense in worst case scenario. And that was the worst case scenario. Everyone was way too far forward. There were so many opportunities there to score and get the opening goal. Instead, they give it up. I think the biggest thing was that Brooks just overcommitted a bit. They went for that play on the ball. They overshot it, and then their goal was left completely wide open. Delaware now looking for seconds.
Oh, no.
And they find it, and this is what happens with momentum, right, Steph Jones? Delaware, they just have it from that fourth matchup, and now things are looking very similar to how the fourth matchup was. Two goals in
defenders.
1 minute.
Two defenders on goal there, and neither of them were able to get the ball. And I have a very small sample size, of course, of being only 4 games, but every game where Delaware scored in the first minute, they won. And that was, if they didn't score in the first minute, we saw that VU was able to win. So they were able to play a little bit of a long game, but University of Delaware, when they can play this short game, when they can score 2 times in a minute, that's really when they started to take some leads and run with them.
Yeah, every time that the score was tied after about a minute or two with 1-1, that's where Villanova was able to win. So they really need to get that equalizer early on to give them a chance to get back into this. It's 2-0. It's not impossible. There's still plenty of time to not only tie, but actually overtake the lead. Still about 3.5 minutes left. But they cannot let things go like how I did that first time when they had a great chance. They cannot miss opportunities like that. You will not get those chances again. And it was some of the most simple Rocket League that they could have scored on, but they just weren't able to get it done. I think they overthought it a little bit on that last attempt. Now they're gonna not get it there, so we'll see if they can get it done this time.
Yeah, 3 minutes left on the clock here, so we can see Villanova perhaps maybe going for that to score. 3 minutes to score twice, not a super difficult thing to do. So if they're able to get them, if they're able to get possession of the ball, they can really start to go for those goals. But right now, Delaware doing a great job of never really letting them have possession of the ball for more than 5-6 seconds.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do, right? You just don't let them ever have the ball. Just keep it to yourself if possible. And I said that Delaware didn't have the aggressive start that they usually did, but since then, it's just been all them.
Yeah, it has been all them all the time, and there is another one for Vixa. A little bit of back and forth there, but the defenders just not where they needed to be. Delaware able to find a third goal with 2.5 minutes left as we are just approaching that halftime. We see nobody was online and that goal except for Grau, so it's that overcommitment all over again. This score could be 1-0 if we just saw a little bit more consistent defense coming from VU.
Yeah, also just a little bit more patient offense. Just not getting too worried, not being too scared, just threading the needle, making sure you hit your shots. I mean, it's easier said than done. In the moment, things move so fast. But you have to, you got to understand the moment, you got to find the moment, and you got to seize the moment. Carpe diem and all that good stuff. And Villanova, they had a lot of great Carpe diem moments, but now things have started to unwind. 2-0, that was very possible the time they had left. Now with only 2 minutes. 1 goal a minute, not impossible. Definitely not out of things. They're going to get that demo, so that's going to open things up. But they got to score immediately. And it just goes out. It bounces right off the left side.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was knocked off there by Vixa, who just did a great job. Didn't knock it into their own goal, and people even able to get it out with the ball already halfway into that goal zone. So now, I mean, if you're VU, that's like the 3rd time this game alone, just here in Game 5, that you've been so close to scoring, and unfortunately just does not work out. Riles gets a great possession, great ball control, able to send it right down mid. There's no follow-up, as I know I'm a horse. He's taken out by Grau. A very brief 2v3 with 90 seconds left on the clock. That is 1 per 30 seconds just to tie things up. And VU, they just cannot keep their wheels on the ball here.
They can. They're also overcommitting to the exact same angle. There you saw 2 players try to go for that aerial on the left-hand side. So there was no way for them to get a rebound if they had gotten it. And that's the biggest thing. You overcommit, it's like the cardinal sin of Rocket League, because you need to be playing different parts of the field. You need to be playing left, right, and middle, especially when you are on the attack again. So that way, no matter where the ball deflects to, no matter where it bounces to, there is someone there to get it.
Absolutely, and there's definitely going to be someone, you want to have somebody in the area to get the ball from underneath you, no matter how your performance may turn out. You want to have somebody there. But running 2 people. I mean, that's pretty consistent for a lot of games. Is you don't want to have 2 people approaching in the same way because it really could cost your team. And as Steve is able to find a demo onto Riles, 38 seconds left. Grau almost finds a 4th. That would have been the nail in the coffin there, but unfortunately it's not going to be coming through quite yet. BU 30 seconds left. That is 1 goal per 10 seconds, and it looks like the University of Delaware may have this one, my friends.
It does indeed. Brooks will just try to play defense, but there you see that they collide, so communication not on their side, and that 4th goal, that nail in the coffin, it has been stuck in. It is all the way closed, that casket. Delaware, they were so close to losing what would have been an amazing win for Villanova, so close to losing an amazing series all around from Villanova. With 21 seconds left, there's just not enough time in the world to try to bring this back.
Yeah, no, there really is not enough time in the world. They could score once, maybe twice, on with 2 perfect plays back to back. But with 10 seconds left on the clock, they will not be scoring the 4 times necessary to push us into that overtime. So as the timer ticks down, there is nothing BU can do here. The University of Delaware, they have secured that victory.
4-1.
I know I'm a horsey. You're a little bit late, but I like your spirit. You know, that horse desperately trying not to be sent to the glue factory after this performance, trying to put just a point on the board. And University of Delaware, they're going to win another game 4-1.
Yeah, that's so every game they won in this series was a 4-1 scoring line, and that's just I love stuff like that. It's just it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but it's just a very cool fact. It's actually not going to be that way. You just completely jinxed it. That's going to be the opening pickoff goal. I think Riles heard us. Actually, Grau heard us and was like, you know what? I'm just going to put this one in. I think it might be a hat trick for them, but it doesn't even matter. It was all for fun. It was all just for padding their stats a little more. It is actually going to be
3 goals?
a hat trick. Yep. So there it is. Hat trick for Grau. And I wouldn't say it was a come from behind performance. It wasn't a reverse sweep because they did win that first matchup, but there was a point where they were down 1-2. It did not look good, and yet here they are on top of a 5-match series.
A 5-match series finally comes through in favor of Delaware, who I think we all predicted that they were probably going to be the victor off of this. Villanova, they show up, they play up to the University of Delaware, but that 5th game just slips away from them. There was maybe 3 or 4 opportunities where Villanova could have scored, and unfortunately there was just one micro mistake, one small spacing issue or something along those lines that ended up costing them every single one of those goals, except for that final one from I know I'm a horsey. So overall, maybe not Villanova's best performance in that 5th game, but the previous 4, they really did play a pretty consistent play style. I mean, to take 2 games on Delaware, not an easy task.
Yeah, no, and I think this will be a great VOD for them to review, to go over their play and where they looked really good. And again, it's the 2nd game where they had the most balance. I think a lot of the time they were just on their back foot. They had to play their own goal because they were not able to get the ball out of their part of the field. They couldn't win at mid, and although the ball control did get a bit better, they were not giving it up as much. They still were not able to win as many 50-50s as they needed. They were not able to get as many tackles as they needed, but we're going to be talking to someone from the University of Delaware in just a few moments, so don't go anywhere. That interview will be back here with us in just a little bit.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back. We unfortunately, during that small break, found out that all of the players from the University of Delaware have to go right to class, so we are not going to be having an interview for this game quite yet. We are going to be throwing it to an extended break as well because our 2nd game of the day was canceled. So we'll see you guys around 6:45 EST, so in about 45 minutes with a brand new matchup. So don't go far, guys. We've got a whole bunch of Rocket League left. We'll see you guys in just a bit. What is going on, you Rocket League fans? We are so very sorry about that delay. We had to wait a couple of minutes for the teams to get back online, but hey, we're only 6 minutes late, so who cares about that? Going up, we have Xavier University up against Seton Hall University. We expect this one to be a lot closer. Our first game of the day was very close, but that was kind of a surprise for us. We kind of are going into this one expecting a close matchup here.
Yeah, absolutely. In the last matchup, you thought, 17 seed versus the number 1 seed, that should be a bit of a blowout. It ended up being a 5-game series. I think that this, and honestly the next one we have, are both going to be very close. This one the closest in seeding, but the other one that we have later on, Connecticut versus Fairfield, not too far away in win-loss. Here, though, it's number 6 Xavier 10-3 going against number 4 Seton Hall 10-2. So it's only that one loss that really separates them right now, and that's because Xavier had one more match during the fall split back when we had some buys because we didn't have enough teams for every team to play. But now in the spring split, we have added some new ones. Cincinnati, I think, being the only one actually being added to Rocket League during that. So now everything is even, just as all things should be. But this could be a big fluctuation. I mean, if Xavier wins this today, they skyrocket into the top 5, and right now they're only just on the outside of it.
Yeah, and you want to be top 5, right? You want to be in as good a position as possible. Xavier hopefully going to be able to secure some kind of victory here at Seton Hall. They're not going to go down without swinging, you know? So I feel like this could be a very close matchup. I think you mentioned Seton Hall sitting at 10-2. Of course, coming up after this, that next game is going to be Connecticut and Fairfield. So keep an eye out for that as well. But now it is time to jump into Xavier University up against Seton Hall.
Yeah, I mean, like, just based off of record, like, maybe Seton Hall has a slight edge, but I feel like their losses have been pretty similar. Like, they've only lost to teams that are around their strengths, you know, in the top 5. So all those teams are playing each other neck and neck. We do know that Delaware did win today, so they advanced themselves. They will keep that first place lead for at least a little bit longer, but already into this game, and it's been going pretty quickly. Xavier and Seton Hall both are blue, so that's going to throw me off a little bit. Xavier for the blue side, Seton Hall for the orange side, and so far just neck and neck. No one's really been able to get a great shot on goal just yet.
Yeah, no great shots on goal, and honestly, I guess one perk of being colorblind here is I had no idea that they were different colors. So now we get to find that out a little bit together, but now almost a minute off the clock, and Brosip from Xavier University going to be able to get a little bit of possession of the ball here, but then immediately someone from Seton Hall, I believe the name was Tone there, going to bring a little bit of pressure as well. Green going to go for that goal early on, but it's going to be blocked by Brosip, so a lot of back and forth between these two teams already as that first minute is burned off the clock.
And it looks like that Seton Hall has been able to get a bit more offense. That's going to be the exclamation mark there. Tone does get that goal, and I feel like I've made so many puns about their name in the past. I'm not even gonna bother today, but they do set the pace. They do get that early goal, and even though it was pretty back and forth, Seton Hall, they did have more attack. They did keep it on the other side of the field for a while. Xavier, they could not clear it. It's the first goal of this series.
Yeah, the first goal of the series is finally going to come through in favor of Seton Hall and Xavier. Now they're definitely going to have to get back onto par with things. They've got it to they had it at the 0-0, and of course in a tie, nobody's really worried about that. But now you're down in that one, you want to get it set back to that 1-1. Satisfied Onion, arguably my favorite name that I've seen in Rocket League in a very long time. To be able to find a little bit of value there with Brosip with an amazing save. They're just able to hit the ball right in time to prevent that goal from coming through.
What Xavier needs right now. They're able to get a little bit of momentum, but Satisfied Onion misses the ball, and now it's just Fowler. Oh, this could be the second goal, but to go right off the crossbar. So we talked about possession and how important it is not to give up the ball. And oh, wait, hold on. What just happened there? We gotta watch this.
Did you miss it? That was something. Oh, it's another one right off the top of the goal there.
Valor just completely misses it. I just don't think they were prepared for it. Maybe it could be a lag. We have seen that a few times where some players
we've seen that happen.
Don't have a great connection, but there, they didn't play very well, and all right, yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Like, I feel like, again, this is another one where maybe they just might be lagging. I'm not sure exactly what's going on right now on the side of Xavier, but they both just completely cleared the net. I'm not sure what they saw there. Maybe they saw a setup on the left side. They wanted to make sure that no one went for it, but both players from Xavier went that way. We talk about this so much. Good teams versus great teams. Great teams, they'll communicate, they'll make sure that only one person is committing to go for that, try to go for that tackle there. Overcommitment. And Seton Hall already at 3-0, 3 minutes in. I mean, this is the start that only some teams can dream of.
Yeah, honestly, Jack, I could not have said it better. Seton Hall coming in and looking just like Delaware was earlier today, finding those 3 points within the first 2 minutes of the matchup. And Satisfied Onion now finally has possession of the ball. Maybe that lag has subsided. That was 2 super weird goals in a row. I completely agree with that. Maybe Xavier's just, maybe they're still getting warmed up or something, but that really did seem like a possible lag error that may have redeemed itself. But now you're down 3-0, 2.5 minutes left, so we're approaching halftime, and Xavier, they have yet to get anything on the board.
Yeah, they had some chances before that first score came in, but since then it's been pretty much lights out from Seton Hall, and they are still looking for blood in the water. Green is going to miss that, but you can just tell, like, they're feeling themselves right now. They're feeling the confidence, but that might have been feeling it a bit too much. They left their goal wide open, but can they find the final flow? And no Satisfied Onion just misses it. Goes for the aerial and completely overshot themselves there. Oh, those are opportunities you're not going to get back.
Yeah, definitely not an opportunity you're going to get back. We've seen that happen quite a few times today as these teams get like 98% to goal, and then unfortunately some small thing, some small misplay just goes awry and it puts that goal away, and then they're never able to get that point back. You don't get to redeem yourself in a game like Rocket League when you miss those goals. You need to be hitting them then and there in that very moment, and Seton Hall, they are in that wonderful position where they don't really have to score. You know, I talk about this all the time. Is they can score, they can put some points on board, maybe shake up the mental of Xavier, but hitting 3-0, and I mean, that's going to be a mental break enough as is.
Yeah, I always say, even if it's a bad loss, doesn't matter if it's 2-1 or 10-1, you always want to get one goal to help give yourself momentum going into that second match of the series. Because this one here, right now, it's not the end-all be-all. It might not be going your way, but you get something going near the end, you get 1 or 2 goals that bring it closer, and then you're feeling much more confident going to that last one. There is some more opportunities for Xavier, just not able to land that final blow to actually get it in the back of the net, but there might be more in the future.
Yeah, they're going to be waiting for anything to happen here if they're able to find it. But 60 seconds left. This is already going to be over for Xavier. Unfortunately, they start a little bit rough and they're not able to follow through on anything. I really do think we saw some kind of lag spike there for them at the beginning of the game. So maybe they're able to come back stronger in the second one. You know, they can afford to lose 2 before they really have to start worrying. But Seton Hall, you know, they're going to want to put this first one away, and then they'll only be 2 away from winning.
They're going to be very close to finishing up this first one. Only 30 seconds left on the clock, and unless Xavier can score 1 goal every 10 seconds,
which is insane.
I mean, it's possible, but I think you gotta like right off the kickoff. They do get a great demo, but the ball is going the other way.
Yeah,
the demo was well timed, but they just never able to actually get possession of it. And with only 15 seconds, yep, this is gonna be game 1
for 5.
Going to Seton Hall.
Yeah, Seton Hall definitely going to be able to secure a victory here. 5 seconds left on the clock. Maybe looking to make it 4-0. And unfortunately, Xavier, like you said, a phenomenal demo, but momentum was not in their favor. The ball was just rolling the other way. They didn't have time to turn it around. And I know that was probably about 5.5 minutes, but that really did feel like a quick match.
It did. I mean, only 3. I think this is the lowest scoring overall game that you and I have covered today. This is only this is also the first shutout we've had today. So in every other game we've casted so far, there's been at least 1 goal scored by either side. But here, Seton Hall, they do keep that clean sheet, and that's really important because not being able to get a goal really puts Xavier in a bit of a pickle, already being down 1 game. And we do notice that Satisfied Onion has much higher ping than everyone else in the lobby, and I feel like
68.
Yeah, that was the player that we were noticing. So there could be some lag spikes. You know, colleges operating remotely right now over the country, so you might be from the West Coast and then your college is on the East Coast. You know, that's a pretty big ping differential, and those lag spikes can come at you at some of the worst times. So we'll hopefully be able to see them stabilize, not have those lag spikes there, because I feel like what we saw there was probably a connection issue. But now, as you said, like going into the second game, just got to put that behind them and play it. You know, it is an 0-1 series, but you can still play it like it's 0-0, because 1 game, not the end of the world. Just play it. Right. It's always a first of 3, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's plenty of time for Xavier to turn this around. And something I want to note as well is Seton Hall had such an aggressive domination of that first game. Xavier had 0 shots on goal. There was not even a single time they were able to find shots on goal. And even when somebody's getting, you know, 10-3 or 7-0, like you still see a shot on goal. But Xavier, unfortunately, was not able to get even a single shot, let alone an actual goal to follow up off.
Which I feel like I'm always a bit like skeptical about the shot, you know, counter, because it's always about being on goal, like you said. So you can actually get the shot off, but if it's blocked ahead of time or maybe it misses the mark, sometimes it just doesn't count. So there were opportunities there for Xavier. They just weren't able to hit the mark. They weren't close enough to be considered. And oh no, Seton Hall going to start this off just like they did the last game. Tone once again going to open things up, and what a great aerial there. Goes for the 50-50, and Tone just sets the pace there once again. I think I said that in the last time when they scored, but it really is like when you score these early goals, and we saw how it was last time. They didn't run up the score by any means. They just got a 3-0 lead and they never looked back.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably the fastest way to win, which sounds kind of weird because nobody's looking to speed run Rocket League or anything. But if you score, you know, 2-3 points early on and then you just play some mad defense, like that's really going to burn down the clock super fast. So maybe Seton Hall going to be trying to play that kind of strategy. Something of note that nothing to do with these 6 players in particular, but something fascinating is Rocket League, I feel, is probably the most 3-dimensional esport that we see, because a lot of other games you're focusing kind of on your x-axis or your y-axis, but in Rocket League, I mean, you are playing all the way up and around you. You are playing like in front of you, above you, below you, and it is, I mean, it is very impressive.
It is impressive indeed. It will be really impressive if Xavier is able to mount some sort of comeback. It's only 1-0, so in this matchup alone, like, there is still time, but you got to think about the overall score of the game right now. It's 4-0 in Seton Hall's favor, and if they can continue just to keep that goal differential in their favor, I think that's just it's the mental game, right? Like, you're so far behind, you realize like you haven't been able to do much in either of the previous 2 going into the third one later on. Maybe that's just game over in your own head. It's not game over just yet by any means, but there's got to be something that Seton Hall can do. It looks like they might have just tackled someone into, or Xavier needs to do something. He's just tackled someone into Seton Hall's goal, but couldn't actually find the follow-up shot there. That would have been great, though. They'd be able to find a way in, just completely nudge someone out of the way.
Yeah, that definitely would have been a good look for them there, but Tone going to be able to find a way and going to force Xavier out of that goal as well. So it's going to be 2-0, 3 minutes and 15 seconds left on the clock. And Seton Hall, I mean, like, I can't stress that enough. They are not 10-2 on accident, right? Like, they have put in the work. They are ready to bring their 100%.
You need to bring 100, I feel like 150%, maybe even 200 right now, because things are not looking super great for Xavier. I mean, again, like, I'm trying to see, I still don't think they have a shot on goal yet. We'll try to look at those stats hopefully at some point, but that's gonna be three-peat for Tone. Hat trick, just like you said, and if I was at this stadium, I'd be throwing my hat right onto that pitch, because that's just, wow, just face barely just trims over the top of them. I mean, that's class. That's a great shot. Just the way that bounces. Yeah.
There is one shot on goal. I just want to point that out. So Xavier, they do get their first shot, or you know what the game classifies as a shot on goal, because like Jack said, that could be, you know, there's a couple of reasons the game might not classify a shot as a shot on goal. That was a nasty one. Selah Vibes. I actually really like that name. I just read it for the first time. That is a very fun name. But they are going to find that fourth goal, and that just puts Seton Hall even further in the lead. This could be another 4-5-0.
Yeah, I like that name as well. I guess a bit of a different version of Selah V. But yeah, it's creative, and right now, Seton Hall, they don't even have to be creative to win this game. They are just, I feel like they're doing basically the same thing every time. They're just running it down mid, and it's working every single time. I think Xavier's really struggling on this defense. The first game, they had it together a little bit, but just like that, Selah Vibes again. Gonna get another goal. I mean, look at this. There's 3 members. It's a 3-on-1. One misses. Shoots it over the other one, and the third one just isn't far back enough to get there in time to stop the shot from going through. And I mean, Seton Hall last time they just sat on the lead. This time they are just growing it.
Yeah, no, they sat on the lead, like I mentioned, super quick. The fastest way to win the game is going to be to take those 2-3 points early on and then just play the craziest defense of your life. But right now, Seton Hall, they're just going for highlight moments. They're just going for highlight reels and some montage clips here, because they are finding some very cheeky goals so far. We're seeing some incredible performance coming out from them, and Xavier just unfortunately cannot find their footing.
Yeah, they're backpedaling, and they are not able to find your rhythm just yet. They have an opportunity there. That was probably their best shot to date. Follow up as well, but just everything is going off the crossbar. They cannot get the ball on the ground. They cannot get it leveled, and now it's going the other way. That's a great play by Valor, but they immediately get demoed for their effort.
Yeah, and I think something hilarious, just from our standpoint, is going to be that, like, that first game, our first and last seed, we thought that was going to be like a 3-0, and then it was all the way to game 5, and then we're like, yeah, this one's going to be pretty close, and right now, it's looking like this one could be a shutout.
Yeah, any given Wednesday, I guess that's any given Sunday is an NFL term, but it's really just like, you know, it doesn't matter about standings, it doesn't matter about rankings, it's about who shows up.
No!
And Tone is just continuing to dominate. Tone definitely showed up 4 goals in this matchup, and now I think the overall goal differential is 9+ for Seton Hall through 2 games. They have doubled their total from the last one, and we still have a minute and a half left.
Yeah, and that, I believe, is called a haul for that player there, Tone, who has scored 4 points, and that might just be for soccer, so I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that something like that is called a haul, and now Seton Hall, okay, a haul, H-A-U-L, not H-A-L-L, like Seton Hall. It's Satisfied Onion, they're finally able to put something on the board there.
Great team play. Broseph gets the ball in, they follow through, they track it very well, and Satisfied Onion just doesn't need too much speed, just needs a little bit of a tap there to knock it in. And it is something for Xavier, right? Because so far it is, first matchup was, you know, decently close. Not the biggest scoreline differential in the world, but the second one is kind of spiraled out of control. So getting on the board going into this third and possibly final matchup will be huge, unless there can be a huge comeback from Xavier. But 5 goals down, a minute left. It's not looking likely. And I'm just wondering now what Seton Hall does. Like, do they continue to play tempo? Do they continue to try to score? I think I've got my answer, as Selah Vibes tried to run it down the field there.
Yeah, tries to run it downfield, tries to find any kind of value, but I mean, at this point, you're really just burning out the timer. You definitely don't want Xavier to be bringing the pressure in any kind of way. You want to hold them in place so their mental is shook even for that third game. Seton Hall looking for the 3-peat here.
They are. We'll see if they get it. They almost give him another one, so that now I feel like the Xavier is finally starting to come alive here, because now they're finding opportunities. it's just not enough for this matchup especially. But if they can connect on maybe one or two more, it's just so nice to continue to build up that synergy, to get the comms afloat, to get those great passes in the air all locked down. Here is an opportunity right now to get another goal back.
Yeah, going to try to find something, trying to get a goal back online, and Valor not going to be able to find anything as he's chasing the ball away from his own goal. 10 seconds left, and maybe Seton Hall just lets them get something on board here other than that shot from Satisfied Onion, but instead it looks like it might go in. What a save indeed on Satisfied Onion. They're able to block that final goal, and Xavier, I feel they come to life a little bit there toward the end of that matchup, but not nearly enough. They're still going to lose that by 5 points. And we look at the differential here. Xavier, 7 shots, and Seton Hall actually only with 9. So that's a 66% score.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing is that Xavier did actually get the shots out, right? I mean, they only converted 1 out of 7, but it's something. It's a little bit of momentum. It's a little bit of an aggression that we need to see from them if they want to stay alive later on in the series, to force more than just this game 3 that's guaranteed no matter what. So kudos on having that late game attack. You just need to convert it now, right? Because like there were opportunities after opportunities after opportunities. There were a lot of great aerials that they tried to knock down, just went off the crossbar, went off the side, didn't actually go in. The defense from Seton Hall, although we haven't seen it for the most part because they've been on attack so much, is still very impressive. Only letting in 1 goal through 2 games. I think that one also, like, they could have blocked that goal. I just don't think they were playing fast enough. I don't think they realized there was someone right on their tail who's about to go for the ball immediately after it drops. So, you know, just have to make sure that they keep up their tempo play themselves. They're always scoring off the bat, and they're not relenting after that. So they do that. I think this is in the bag for Seton Hall, but if Xavier can continue to find a little bit of that offense that they've been lacking in that first game, continue what they had in the second game and actually capitalize on it, could have a series.
Absolutely, we could absolutely have a series on our hands here with Xavier. They've got 5 minutes to bring that series to life, and with Selah Vibes finding a goal in 4 seconds, I'm really not sure that's going to happen quite yet. Something of note for those of you who watch all that we have going on at EGF, yesterday at Smash while I was casting, a stock was taken in 4 seconds right at the start of a match, and then next day, Rocket League, Selah Vibes with a goal 4 seconds into the match. So that seems to be a pattern happening this week here at EGF.
Yeah, score quick, score fast. There is almost an equalizer on the other side, but this is what we've expected from Seton Hall, is that they always are able to get the opening kickoff. Then from there, they're just able to march the ball down the field. But Satisfied Onion might be trying to do it all themselves. Almost finds their second goal for not only themselves, but for Xavier, but they are denied. But that goal is wide open. Does it have the speed? No, Satisfied Onion just isn't able to get it. The defense there from Tone to knock them off the ball for just a slight second works out wonders. This is the most competitive I feel like we've seen Xavier, just going back and forth over and over again.
Yeah, we are definitely seeing some great matchup here from Xavier. They're trying to bring the heat. They're able to protect their goal, and they're trying to find any kind of value on the offense that they can. Their defense getting warmed up. You know, 2 games in better late than never here, but now Selah Vibes trying to find anything forward because they can secure even 1 more point. That'll give Seton Hall a real lead.
Yep, a real lead. What they've had almost every time. I feel like 3-0 is like a pretty comfortable lead in Rocket League.
No doubt.
Obviously, you don't want to just like sit on it, because depending on how much time is left, there is a way for your opponent to get back into it. But I always talk about, like in Valorant, for example, like what a good round is, what a good score is to have at the half. I feel like 2-0 at halftime is pretty good. 3-0 generally is what will get you all the way to the end. But at 1-0, Xavier is definitely looking a lot cleaner than they have thus far.
Absolutely. And the fact that they've even been able to keep it to 1-0 is going to be a great look, because you mentioned that already. Seton Hall, they scored so aggressively in those other matchups. So we see a great defense coming from Xavier. They're not going to get scored on 2-3 times in a minute. Now they're really going to be able to prevent a lot of goals, and Satisfied Onion almost finds one from midfield, but unfortunately it's not going to be connecting quite yet. Green now, kind of that silent player on the side of Seton Hall, trying to find something here, but unable to do so. Here comes Tone. We know and love Tone. Is going to go for those goals, but unable to find it off the top of the goal there. Now going to turn around, but it's going to be Satisfied Onion, who has been, I mean, Xavier hasn't been performing to their very best today, but Satisfied Onion, to me, has been kind of the standout player.
Yeah, it looks like they have gotten that internet issue
no.
sorted out, but it's not going to stop Green from just getting the fadeaway open net shot. And that was all set up just by Green.
Yeah.
Getting it.
Yeah.
So they took the ball originally and they ran of it, then they just gave a little pass to Tone, and then Tone nudged it down the field. That's great passing. That's great teamwork, and I feel like that's just like top tier Rocket play, like camaraderie. Like that's like, you can tell it, like teammates are really working together and just synergizing at their fullest potential.
Yeah, and I talk about how you have to see kind of a matchup of when you're playing Rocket League, wow, I didn't think that was going to go in, but it sure did. But as I was saying, with Rocket League, you have to be playing as a team of 3 rather than 3 people on a team, because playing as just individuals and everybody going for their own goals can get incredibly sloppy. But if your team is coordinated and you're actually discussing passes and shots on goal and defensive maneuvers, I think that is when teams like Seton Hall really start to shine, is when they have that team communication.
It is indeed. I think one thing to mention about Xavier is like they're still a really good team, but
Absolutely.
This matchup is definitely not going their way. It's looking a lot like the second one. They lost to Delaware last week, and I remember when I was casting that, like, we thought that would be a close matchup as well. Those teams like Xavier, they're having 2 tough weeks in a row. It's unfortunate. I know like a loss like that can be pretty devastating when like you can compete for like one of the top spots. Because if they had won that, they would be tied with Delaware, I believe, but they didn't here. Not doing super well against another top team, but there still is a little bit more time to regroup, rebound in the upcoming weeks. We are getting near the end of the spring split and season 2 of EGFC. Crazy to think of how long we've been doing this now, but there is still a little bit of time. So, today was not your day. Last week was not your week either. But for Xavier, I mean, we know that they're a good team. We know that they can come to play when it's needed. Here, we weren't able to find really much from the get-go. Just only a few moments here and there, but keep capitalizing on those moments later on, and you never know where you can end up.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you who may not be familiar, I jag a little bit, but I come from the Overwatch scene initially here at EGF, and as a very popular damage dealer in that game loves to say, lose the battle, win the war. So Xavier may unfortunately lose the battle here, and they lost that battle last week, but they're down, but they're definitely not out in terms of overall rankings.
Yeah, and I mean, when it comes to league standings, like, they'll still be pretty near the top, but I think most importantly, like, it's conference standings, right? And that's what the conference championships, they come into play. And right now, I mean, they're actually this actually is a big matchup now that I'm looking at, because both of them are in the Big East. So Seton Hall winning this one will put them definitively at the top of the Big East, give them the #1 seed going into playoffs. But Xavier's only behind them at 7-2 after this. In one will be what Seton Hall moves up to. And then there's Butler and DePaul that are not too far behind. So there's a lot of really good teams in the Big East Conference. So I think that how the playoffs play out there, who wins that and then goes on to the EGFC championships later on, that's going to be a big thing to look out for. This game, it was important, but you just can't let it get the best of you. You can't let this dry,
Hey!
There's one, yeah. You can't let this get the best of you.
Absolutely. You mentioned this. Butler is kind of in that 3rd place position for Big East. They have a game later tonight. We won't be here, but there will be 2 other casters, of course, and they will be putting that performance on tonight. So while you've got it pulled up in front of you, do you know if they win or lose, if that's really going to impact their placement, or are they kind of in that comfortable 3rd spot?
Right now, Butler's at 6-2. So if they win this, if they win tonight, it actually, I'm not sure what the head-to-head. They are right now actually tied with win-loss, I think, when it comes to maps, or they're only 1 behind currently. So I do believe that will actually shift the standings a lot. So the more we think about it, the more this will actually impact Xavier, unfortunately. But it looks like they will move to 3rd if Butler does win tonight. Butler would move to
still podium,
slot.
right? Still on that placement podium, and as those final 7 seconds are going to tick away, Xavier, unfortunately, are going to get 3-0'd by Seton Hall here, but it keeps us on schedule, which we appreciate here at EGF, of course. So not going into extra games, there is a bit of a silver lining in Xavier. This game wasn't great for them, and it could be a lot worse if Butler wins their matchup later on tonight.
Yep, sometimes fate is just out of your hands. You had an opportunity here to secure one of those top spots. You could have been #1, you might be dropping to #3, but like you said, still on the podium, still in playoff contention. So this week, last week, not a super great look for Xavier. Seton Hall, they're feeling good. They also got a 3-0 last week, so Seton Hall, they're probably feeling pretty good about their chances going into playoffs later on. But like we said, there's still a few more weeks of regular season play coming up, so there's still time for other these teams, to fluctuate in those standings before things are all said and done.
Absolutely, and things aren't going to be quite said and done here yet tonight. There's so much more Rocket League left to be played. We are going to throw it to a quick break. We may be back with an interview depending on the availability of the players, or we'll be back with our 3rd matchup in just a couple of minutes, so don't go far, and we'll see you guys in a bit. What's going on, everybody? Septulence and Jag back to bring you the interviewee from the Xavier University and Seton Hall matchup. It is going to be Tone, who we saw get, I think, 2 hat tricks between those 3 games. So definitely a good performance here tonight either way. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. So my question for you really is going to be, going into this, you guys are pretty close in seeds. I think it was 2 and 3 going into this initial matchup. So were you kind of nervous going into this? Were you shaken up? I mean, I'm sure you guys weren't expecting to show up and dominate quite like you did tonight. That was quite the performance. But did you have any expectations moving into this?
You know, we totally expected to dominate. I'm not gonna lie. We've been grinding. We've been
All
grinding.
right.
We've been out here, putting in the work, and you know what? It paid off. And we got CRL
Absolutely.
quals coming up. We've been grinding. We've been in the lab, and it showed today.
Absolutely, it really did. You heard it here first, folks. I mean, Tone said it better than I ever could. Hard work, it pays off. Sometimes it really is as simple as that.
Yeah, so you guys move into sole first place of the Big East, and that's huge going into those conference finals later on. But looking at the overall standings of Rocket League here at EGFC, there's still 3 teams ahead of you: UT Arlington, RIT, and University of Delaware. So where you guys are going to be a little bit below, I believe, all 3 of them, unless one of those teams loses today, just from win-loss record.
Which Delaware already did not.
Yeah, Delaware did win earlier on, so they're definitely staying in first place. But out of those 3 teams, like, where do you think you guys fit in? Like, do you think you guys are going to be able to compete with them if you do make it into the EGFC championships later on, or do you think there's still maybe some more work to be done before you get there?
You know, after that UT Arlington Game 5 loss, we kind of saw like what we could become, and I feel like we just started grinding right after that, and I feel now we're more of a match with UT Arlington and those upper teams. So I think we definitely have a shot, and we've been getting better at a really fast rate right now. So I expect to be able to compete, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's definitely what we love to hear. We love to know that these teams are putting in the work both on and off the field. So, congratulations for sure. I mean, you guys put in the work. It was a masterclass of
Thank
some
you.
Rocket League gameplay. So, thank you so much for joining us for the interview as well. And extend our congratulations to your teammates. You guys have been doing great just for this whole season. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And with that, folks, we are going to throw it to a super quick break. We're going to, everybody go refill your water bottle, go use the restroom and whatnot. But we will see you guys in just a couple of minutes with our third matchup of the night. So, don't go far.
This is the Seton Hall story, one that comes to life every day on our campus. This is the place where great minds discover, innovate, collaborate, and find their true calling. This is the place where passion has a purpose, where learning inspires leading. The bonds we make, the values we teach, inspire our community to take heart and take action. This is Seton Hall University. This is what great minds can do.
I'm from Chicago, Cleveland,
Phoenix, Milwaukee,
Hartford,
Colorado, Oklahoma, Thailand,
Norway, Cameroon.
and I chose
Xavier University.
for business, chemical science,
Occupational therapy,
philosophy, politics, and the public.
computer science.
Because it felt like home.
I knew I would be welcome.
Because they take care of veterans.
I felt connected to the campus, to the people.
The sports.
I came here to be a musketeer,
And now,
I am.
I am.
All for one.
Welcome back, Rocket League gamers. I'm still Septilin, still joined by Jag to bring you our third of what was supposed to be 4, so our third and final match between University of Connecticut and Fairfield University.
Yeah, and I feel like we've been kind of thrown a loop here so far because the matchup that we thought was going to be a blowout was super close. The match that we thought was going to be super close was not at all. So I'm not even sure what to expect from this one. It's University of Connecticut versus Fairfield, and we previewed this a little bit earlier. These teams are very close in standings.
Yeah.
They're not actually a little bit farther away in standings, are very close in record.
Right.
UConn coming in at number 8 overall, Fairfield coming in at number 12, but Fairfield 7-5 versus 8-5 from UConn. So the only difference is one more game played, one more win on UConn's side. So not much is separating these 2 teams, but as we've seen so far, closeness in standings and records does not mean closeness in game.
Right, absolutely. Like you said, today we've just been thrown a loop 100 times over. It was the match that was supposed to be a shutout goes to game 5, and the game that was supposed to go to game 5 is a 3-0 shutout. So now this game completely up in the air. Fairfield and Connecticut, they've got to bring their absolute A game here if we're going to see another game 5, or maybe we're going to see another shutout. It's really only up to the players here.
Yeah, and I've seen UConn a little bit so far throughout the season, and I feel like they've been one of the more impressive kind of upper mid-table teams. So there is room, obviously, for them to move up if they win this. We always talk about the standings, but they can move up, I believe, to maybe 7th or 6th, depending on how things shake out today. So it's not only in their hands. They got to have some of their teams lose higher up in the bracket, but they've done a great job. They have really come alive in this split, if I remember correctly. I feel like they've been on a pretty big run of their own. They've been able to really get things going here. Fairfield You know, they're kind of an outlier for me. They are definitely, you know, mid-table. I'm not exactly sure where they stand, but this is a great chance for them to win a team that's very close and be able to advance themselves ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And with Chirp's name, I just want to like look at it, Chirp, and then just scream where all of those like punctuations are. I don't know why, but I just feel like that's how the name is supposed to be said. And now it's going to be a very slow first 30 seconds. We're not going to be seeing a goal, which we saw quite a few times to get those early goals in those first couple of seconds. And now Soccer Scout, who we found out during the break, also plays for Fairfield's FIFA team. That does nothing for this game. He just must really like soccer because he is now in both Rocket League and FIFA. But now almost a minute off the clock, and nobody's done much with it.
Get you someone who can do both, right? I mean, we talk about like traditional athletes, you can be multi-sport. Why not multi-sport? Why not? You're gonna go for it. Maybe, I'm not sure if you know about scholarships and stuff, but maybe even more scholarship money. I'm sure that's great for the players, but that's gonna be a first shot and a first goal for UConn. Chirp just able to get the job done there at Soccer Scout with the takeaway, but then it's immediately given back. Yeah, just isn't able to fully clear it. And there were two members of Fairfield there on the left side. So, you know, sometimes you got to play bodyguard. You got to make sure that whoever has the ball in their possession is able to get it clear down the field. That time doesn't go for the enemy coming at them. The defender becomes the attacker, and UConn going to break that game wide open. Still a lot of time, though.
Yeah, still plenty of time to turn some things around. 3 minutes and 42 seconds left on the clock. UConn, they've got the lead, but now they definitely want to secure maybe one or two more goals to really solidify that lead, because Fairfield, they're only one goal away from tying things up, and then nobody has any kind of advantage. Matter is going to be able to find a demo onto Chirp straight away, so Fairfield, they've got that advantage for just a moment, but UConn, you know, they're not really going to take that disadvantage. They're just going to be able to respawn, because the respawn timer in this game is so fast that the demos are almost hardly even worth it. But now, almost 2 minutes off the clock, and UConn, they're still holding on to that 1 point lead.
Yeah, sometimes demos can be very disadvantageous, actually. If you use them at the wrong time, it will give your opponent boost, depending on if you have possession or not. It's so important to make sure that you're getting demos when you're marching down the field and not, you know, trying to just defend, because sometimes that can actually work out the opposite direction. But for now, still 1-0. I feel like for the most part, UConn is just winning off of takeaways. It seems like they're doing a very good job at contesting balls. There's another one right there. So I feel like Fairfield, they're going to have to maybe try to switch up the paths they take to get down the field. Maybe try to pass it a bit more. Try to cross it, because right now they're just trying to march on forward, and every time there's a player from UConn is going to beat them head on.
Oh yeah, and it's just those constant aerial matchups there. We see, like you said, there's always somebody from UConn to meet them there. Every time we see somebody with Fairfield on ball, we see somebody from UConn right there on the exact opposite end of that ball, just trying to put the pressure on to as aggressively as they can. 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. This is currently shaping up to be the lowest scoring game that we've seen all day.
Yeah, and I think we said that at one point, and then it ended up being like 4-0 by the end.
Yeah.
So still 2 minutes, still time, but if things do stand, that'll be the second +1 differential we've seen, but the only one that would end up in a shutout is we had one game that ended 2-1 earlier, if I remember correctly. Now Droy is going to try to clear things out, but oh no! Oh. They're not able to, and just mistiming is the defender in the net. Right there, looks like it's a disaster with the one try to do it, and there, just look at that, just a second too late. Those split-second decision seconds. It's those inches versus feet. You know, give an inch, move a mile. There, just enough room to have that ball slide right in at the top, and things tied up, basically 0-0.
Yeah, like you said, essentially a 0-0, 2 minutes left on the clock, so kind of a sudden death round here.
Yeah, it's not golden goal just yet. If it does go to overtime, that is where it'll be. First person to score wins no matter what. But it kind of has that golden goal vibe already, because these two teams have really been great at attack and defense. I think that UConn has had a bit better possession overall, and now there's going to be a great position. The demo goes in, but the ball does not. Soccer Scout there at the perfect angle just to make sure that the goal is denied.
Yeah, no, that demo was... I thought the ball was going to go in after. That's why I gasped it the first time. And then the smoke cleared and everything was just a little bit better. So it was going to be able to keep the ball out of goal, keep things tied up for just a little bit longer. We've got 60 or 75 seconds left on the clock now. And both these teams, I think we're seeing a lot of defense and not very much offense, because everybody's defense is so strong.
Defense wins championships, and I think you made a great point about the demo kind of blocking our line of sight. I remember there's a play very similarly in one of the other games we casted today where the exact same thing happened, that they actually did score on that one, and I was like, how did that happen? I got to watch the replay to figure it out. But now UConn, they put Droids in the goal, but they don't put the ball in. There's going to be an attempt to try to shoot it once again. We're going to play that aerial.
And they're going to run this timer down. We're going to see Matter with another goal. And I think we may go into a golden goal situation. And every time I say that, I'm usually wrong.
There you go.
Yeah, all right. Every time I say that, I'm usually wrong, and UConn here is going to make sure that I know that I'm wrong, because that was, I mean, I guess I asked for it, but that was, I mean, UConn, they're going to be able to take the lead just a little bit here. 34 seconds left on the clock. That single point may be just enough to secure them a first-round victory.
For 30 seconds, Fairfield doesn't win a clean kickoff there, and they miss Matter's attempt to try to go for the ball in the air. Chirp almost actually completely blocked that shot from their own teammate. They just were like inches away from him making contact with it, but instead it kind of just blocked off the line of sight. So I'm not sure if that was something they planned on or just worked out well in their favor, but it worked out nonetheless. With 13 seconds left, UConn are holding on to this slim lead that's going to win the match one in the series. But Fairfield, they're on the doorstep.
Yeah, they're on the doorstep of death here, and it looks like they are going to be losing that first matchup. The ball going to be live in the air, and you can tie it up, but there is just nobody from Fairfield there to catch it. UConn is going to be able to secure it with that last, 30-second point that puts them at, that 2-1 matchup. We see 7 shots on goal from UConn and only 3 from Fairfield. There's a difference there. That is
Yeah. And you mentioned it, this was more of a defensive battle, but
absolutely.
I said that UConn was doing a better job winning position, and they were also doing a better job actually getting shots off and actually getting at least close to the goal, enough for it to count as a shot on goal. And I mean, you can win defense all day, you can keep playing very evenly, but if you're not shooting enough, you're not going to get enough goals. Sometimes you'll get lucky, and maybe all you need is 1 or 2 shots to get 1 or 2 goals, and that's what will set you ahead and set you far enough to get that victory at the end of the day. But day's not over. Right now, UConn, they do win that one by the slimmest of margins. So there's still work to be done on either side. Fairfield, they're not out of this by a long shot. UConn, they're not super ahead. They're not winning this in a blowout fashion. So match 2, I think, is going to be very interesting, because a lot of players in Rock League are always like, oh, the first matchup doesn't really technically count. Like, it's not as important, because it's always about learning your opponent's playstyle. So now that you know what they're going to do, can you adjust and take advantage of it and make it work in your favor going into that second matchup?
Yeah, in Connecticut, they've won a single game. Now they've got to win 2 more. So Fairfield, they're down by 1, but like you said, that first one may not really count. You're learning your opponent's play style. You're trying to get that mild advantage and learn of how they're going to play. So Fairfield, if they can really shake things up, they can take an advantage. But UConn, they played just consistent enough to take the lead there.
Yeah, and one thing I mentioned, and we didn't have enough time because we were a bit behind, but these two teams are coming off different weeks from last week. Fairfield barely lost to Butler. That was a very close 2-3 matchup. So, they're probably feeling like they could have taken that one, and they're trying to find a little bit of revenge this week against UConn. But UConn, they're coming off a Furio of Hofstra, so they're feeling pretty confident. They're feeling pretty in the zone, and even though it's still close, I think you can tell that UConn's just playing a slight bit better. And I mean, that's why the scoreline ended up the way it did, right? Just a few differences, a few quick plays here and there. That's when those difference maker. That's what separated them. I mean, that's going to be another quick play.
Oh, the fast one. That was something. I mean, Chirp. That was one of the fastest I've seen a ball shot into goal. I don't know if it's just the angle we were watching from, but that was a quick one coming out there for just that end. Chirp is going to be able to find some great value super early on there, and hardly over 30 seconds off the clock. And UConn, they get a comfortable. I mean, not super comfortable. As I always say, comfortable is really 2 or 3 goals in the lead, but they get a lead, and that's the most important part.
And Troy's had a really amazing, but not super out there play. Just basically gets the shot actually on goal, gets it off a crossbar. Chirp comes in, but they body block in the net. They just run in. They try to displace all the defenders, but Fairfield is able to do some displacement of their own, and just like that, we're back at that 1-1 scoreline. It was a lot quicker this time around than last time.
Yeah, pretty much just sitting at 0-0, so that's not exactly what we're going to be checking out there.
Yeah. Close game, and remember, folks watching at home, this is all fun, good collegiate action, so let's not take it too harsh on our opponents. Everyone's here just to play a game,
of course,
try to win at the end of the day.
And those who watch this should know nothing makes me happier than good sportsmanship. So let's make sure we are sticking around to that. So please definitely keep an eye out for that. Now, Fairfield and UConn are going to be going toe-to-toe, as always, and we are going to give our love and compassion to both of these teams. Right now, it's going to be 1-1, 3 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. UConn, they always get these early goals, and Fairfield, like you said, that was definitely the fastest they've been able to turn it around.
Yeah, they're able to get the equalizer, but they haven't been able to stay ahead. They've only been behind or tied so far in the series. So Fairfield really need to get a lead at some point. That's an opportunity. That was a missed aerial attempt there, and it goes the other way. So Disaster is not actually going to have that strike for them. And now this is a great shot, and oh my goodness, Chirp once again is just getting shot after shot, lines it up. Droys again with the assist. Look at that, Matter just barely misses the block there.
Yeah, I know the block there was just hardly not able to make it, and UConn, they're going to take that lead again. Like I said, I expect Fairfield to be able to turn this around relatively quickly, but UConn, they're always able to take a lead and, yeah, run with it. I was just about to say that.
Roy's now able to get something off the kickoff. Let's see what happens. Just able to, it looks like they basically just got the ball themselves, so I think it's an unassisted goal. Able to win it, able to, there was a demo at the very end that was just made me laugh. It bounces it right off the left side, and then basically it's like passing to yourself in basketball there. Able to get a good lead now, and this is the biggest lead we've seen UConn have so far.
Yeah, this is definitely the biggest lead we've seen by those 2 points. It's always been a 1-point lead one way or the other. So now Fairfield, I was just about to say they're going to have to do something though, and UConn is not going to be able to block that goal. It looks like it's going to come from Elysium. I don't know how to say that, but Fairfield is going to be able to put themselves up at a 1-point deficit.
I think it's Elysium. I'm reading that correctly, but I'm sure we'll find out eventually if we're right or not. But yeah, I mean, usually they're able to bring it back. They're usually able to go a little bit tit for tat, but they're always down one. That's what we've seen so far in this series. It's been so close, but not close enough. And now UConn, they are knocking once again. There's still a lot of time. This game, you know, it feels like it's been 5 minutes already, but there's still 3 minutes on the clock because of how many goals have been scored because of those replays taking up some time. So it's really still anyone's ballgame, but Fairfield, they have to be the aggressor. They cannot put their foot off the pedal for just a moment, because if they do, UConn might be able to have a great counterattack.
Absolutely, and something of note is, I mentioned this earlier, if you want to speed run Rocket League, your best deal is to get 2 or 3 points early on, and then just play the defense of a lifetime and burn out the clock, because of course, the games take longer because you have to go through all of those replays and whatnot. So this game may feel a lot longer than what we've seen today, because this is one of the higher scoring games I feel we've seen between both teams, rather than one team kind of scoring 5 in a minute, you know, like rapidly. This has really been across the board very close for both these teams. Fairfield, you know, I feel they are always just like one good call, one good play away from securing a point. So now maybe 2 minutes to turn it around, to tie things up. That's absolutely doable.
It is, but there's a great attack. The ball just barely getting out to the side by Matter. A great defensive play to make sure it didn't go towards the goal. I think you're right. 1 or 2 plays away right now, Fairfield are, from getting a lead or at least tying it up. They just can't clear the ball out. It seems like they are really struggling. Like, they're able to block these shots, they're able to save, but they can't actually get the ball out. They're not able to get it to the half field mark. There was an opportunity, but now the net is completely wide open, and Disaster strikes there. It was actually Chirp that, I believe, got the end there, but yeah, gonna be able to get that shot off. Just an overcommitment. Again, you never want to have 2 of your players on the same side in an attempt like that. You need to make sure you're covering all angles of the field there. There's too many people on the right or the left, whichever way you're looking at it. And a great takeaway. Once again, great steal to lead to a goal that might be enough for UConn to win the second one and go to match point in Game 3.
Yeah, no, that definitely may be enough, and that's going to help, right? I mean, I think
4 goals.
I'm not sure. I was going to say that's the haul, so the hat trick already came through. That was definitely some great value there super early on. And Chirp, which I think it's Chirpa. I think the at is supposed to be an A, so I think it may be Chirpa, but they are able to find 5-2, a minute and a half left on the clock. I mean, this could already be over.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for Fairfield right now, at least in the second matchup. There is still a minute, so there is still some time, but we have a 3-goal lead right now for UConn. It's going to be near impossible for Fairfield to at least bring it back. But again, I always say this, you know, if you're down a few, just try to bring it back, try to get 1 or 2, and they can score. You know, they haven't been shut out by any means, but now UConn's starting to ramp it up, and that's 5 for Chirp. 5 goals on 7 shots.
That's a pretty darn good record. I mean, 5 goals on 7 shots. Sherpa's just getting some great value here, able to take that score up and triple what Fairfield currently has online. There was a moment where the score was 3-2, but UConn, they have just taken it and run away with it.
Yeah, they have run away. They've gone all the way to the bank. They have deposited their savings, their checkings, everything, their stock options. They have just put all their money into this matchup, and it's really started to go in one direction. They're still looking for more. They are not relenting. They want to keep going, and you know, it's gonna make the game go longer as they get that demo. 7th goal not online, not found just yet, and now Soccer Scout. That's like the first time they've cleared it out of their own end of the field in I feel like at least 2 minutes. This is we run all the way back.
That was almost a goal for UConn there, and a relatively easy one. And Soccer Scout, I don't know what it is about the name. I love that it's so on the nose. Like, his name is Soccer Scout and he plays Rocket League and FIFA. Like, that just makes me laugh. That's like playing, I don't know, that just makes me chuckle. So thank you for that good laugh, Soccer Scout. But now 15 seconds left on the clock, and this is over for Fairfield here. So this is going to go into our next match, or our next game here between these two. It's going to be UConn up 2-0.
It is indeed. And now they're going to feel a lot better about how this game went, because last one, 2-1, here, 6-2, so that goal differential is really starting to add up for you. It's, I believe, 8-3, so +5 through 2 games in the shots. I mean, look at the shots right now. Chirp really went on a rampage here.
5 and 8.
Yeah, that's a great ratio, converting more than half. And, I mean, still some other shots from Droids and Disaster as well, getting more than 10. You want to try to get to double digits if possible. Fairfield, they were really shut out. They got 2 goals on 4 shots, so 50% shooting. But think if they'd be able to shoot more. Clearly, they've got the skill. Clearly, they have the knowledge to try to get those goals in and actually convert them into points. But they just weren't able to find it. And like we said, those few plays here and there have separated them. But UConn really took advantage of those few plays and started to make even more and more as the mistakes kind of lined up for Fairfield.
Absolutely, and something of note is Chirpa alone just got 8 shots on goal. The entirety of Fairfield had 4. They had 2, 1, and 1. So over double what Fairfield as a whole, or exactly double what Fairfield had as a whole of shots on goal. So Fairfield, they've got to get out of that defense. I mentioned game 1, super defensive sided for both these teams. And then Connecticut, they got to take advantage of that, and they started to come out a little bit more aggressive. Now Fairfield's going to have to do the same thing if they have any hope of taking this.
Yeah, and I think one thing to mention is, like, though Chirpa, they're putting in most of those goals away. We did get confirmation that it's Chirpa, I believe. The assists, though, have been great. The passes from UConn have been stunning. So
Very
remember,
true.
Like you said, it's a team game. I mean, Chirpa might be the one putting it away. They might be the one getting the most glory at the end of the day.
Oh,
but,
no.
Oh, no. Oh, no. It goes out. Okay, thank you.
That was almost a disaster.
Have one thing go right for them, but just to sum up my point so you can get back to the play-by-play, it's an all-around team effort from UConn, and the other players are doing their part perfectly.
Yeah, we have just seen some great performance from these players as a whole. And like you said, team-based. I say that all the time. This is going to be all about performing as a team rather than performing as a group of individuals. So it's definitely something to keep an eye out for. UConn trying to take advantage of that fact that Fairfield hasn't really been able to perform as a group so far. Matter, however, I think this is the first time Fairfield scores first.
It is indeed. Usually we see Fairfield get scored on first and then immediately tie it up. But this time Fairfield, they get to open it up. Just a great pass down the field from Elysium. Able to thread the needle, able to get it all the way down there. It's going to be their teammate putting it in at the end of the day. So this is what you need if you're Fairfield. Finally able to do something you haven't been able to do so far in the series, able to open things up. But can you capitalize on it? Can you find another goal? Can you create a lead? This is the first lead they've had actually the entire time too.
Yeah, is Fairfield going to bring the reverse sweep? I mean, I think and hope so.
Yeah, I mean, we love close games. Those are the best to catch. Those are the best to watch. That first matchup in particular between the two teams was great. But Fairfield looking just for a moment to capitalize and get their score to double, get it to 2, but now they don't. And now they might get scored on the exact same way. They scored themselves a pass down the field. I think we've seen this a few times from Fairfield where they just aren't able to rotate quick enough. The goal is wide open, and now UConn, they're going to be doing a bit of tying things up themselves. 1-1 game after a minute.
Yeah, it's going to be 1-1, just a little bit over a minute off the clock.
A minute off the clock, and I mean, if you're Fairfield, you gotta be kicking yourself a little bit after that one, because you have been able to do really well so far in this first match. You're able to finally get something you hadn't. Finally able to have a lead, and now you give it up, but it's still 1-1, it's still a 0-0, so it's definitely not too bad right now for Fairfield. And they get a demo, still have it on UConn's side of the field, so there are opportunities. Can they find that shot that they need to put it away?
Yeah, they're going to have to find a shot to put it away, that 1-1, that basic 0-0. 3 minutes and 18 seconds left on the clock. A great save from Matter, able to put Chirpa's goal just on hold for a couple of minutes longer here, maybe just a couple of seconds. Soccer Scout going to get possession of the ball very early on.
The possession. Now Matter has it. Can they keep dribbling it? I feel like we've also seen a lot less aerial play in this game,
Agreed,
particularly than some of the other ones. I mean, there is still some of it, but like you don't see those dribbles over the top, or they just kind of like try to dunk it in on the net. A lot of the time, it's kind of like these wide passes that sometimes meet the mark, sometimes they miss. That's going to meet the mark. That pass is going to get Fairfield back in, and it's going to go across the net. But Matter is in position. He's not able to connect, but Elysium going to come in to keep it in play.
Yeah, Elysium going to try to keep it in play here, trying to put any kind of value, but unfortunately nobody's able to score quite yet. Matter almost finds him and hits the crossbar off the top of things here. And now Fairfield, they've got possession of the ball for just a moment. It's going to be handed back to UConn, and then again, somebody from Fairfield knocks the ball into the stratosphere there. So it's definitely a lot of back and forth here. Super close so far, a lot closer than that second game that we just watched. And Fairfield now, they're able to keep it at 1-1, but they were able to do this for a while last time, and then UConn just all of a sudden started to pop off in that late game.
Yeah, I love games like this where it's so close. It reminds me a lot of the first match, and I think I said that already, but I mean, like, now that it's like 2 minutes in, it's still 1-1, things are neck and neck. I mean, according to the law of the script, right, it's got to be Fairfield taking this one because they scored first, but, you know, UConn, they don't like the script writers. They want to create their own fate. They want to create their own story, and just that defensive battle. I think this time, though, UConn's actually not playing the attack as well as they had previously in the first and definitely the second matchup. Fairfield has been the one that's been the aggressors a lot more.
You were definitely seeing UConn kind of stuck in their own back third, stuck near their own goal, trying to protect it, and they really have not been able to get the value they want. Soccer Scout there with a great interrupt, trying to send the ball back toward goal, but it's actually going to end up near Fairfield's goal. We see Matter on top of it, trying to find anything in the midfield. A lot of cross aerials in the air there. Somebody's trying to get the ball, but unfortunately, I think 3 people there jumped for the ball, and they all missed. Sherpa is going to be able to send it back down Fairfield, and that's an open goal. Nobody's getting there in time. UConn is going to take the lead here.
This is so unfortunate for Fairfield. They get scored on twice the exact same way. This time, Disaster is the one that puts it away. Just a great cross. Almost actually stolen there by Troyes. I think they were trying to get that last nudge in to get the credit for the goal, but they don't. And just Fairfield, again, like, they have had the better aggression. They've had the better attack overall,
right.
But it's just split-second plays like that, split-second decisions where UConn sees an opening. They see that they have a chance to get a very cheeky goal. Twice they have succeeded with it. And 2 goals might be all they need to win this series out, as there's only a minute left, and it's going to be just less like that. Matter is going to bring it back. So, you know, give one, get one. UConn and Fairfield, they are neck and neck in this third and possibly final matchup if UConn can win out.
It's like those give a penny, take a penny things from the grocery store. They give one, they take one, and that just seems to be the pattern here over and over. So Fairfield's going to tie things up 2-2, but keep in mind, UConn, they're up 2 games. So Fairfield, if they win this one, they've got to win 2 more to take it away. And now 52 seconds left on the clock. UConn, it's kind of becoming their now or never moment, and it looks like it may be right now as Turpa, with a very close goal, is able to find a shot there. It goes right past Soccer Scout. We can see this, or no, maybe it's not Soccer Scout, in pretty much slow motion, right past Matter. He just unfortunately cannot deflect the ball enough, and that does give UConn a lead in these final 48 seconds.
Yeah, Soccer Scout does get a piece of it before, but doesn't get the clear. And then Matter, it looks like they actually might have nudged it into the corner a bit, so they tried to nudge it all the way out. Instead, they just nudged it right into the goal. There really isn't much you can do there if you're Matter. They didn't have any boost. They just tried to do what they could in that moment. That'll do pick sometimes, but in this case, that'll not do pick, as you were currently down 1 once again. 30 seconds remaining. Can you tie it up? Can it go to overtime? We have not seen an overtime period throughout the 3 games, or the 3 matches seen in any of the games from them. So far, this is, I believe, our 11th, so there's still plenty of opportunity for Fairfield with 17 seconds left. It's on the side of the field they want. They cannot let this get cleared out.
Yeah, they definitely cannot let this get cleared out. They have 10 seconds left. They need to get not only possession of the ball, but never mind. Turpa just hit that final nail smack into the top of the coffin. And UConn, they're going to be able to take this 4-2 over Fairfield. Fairfield has to score twice in 7 seconds. That's impossible.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. And their Chirpa just going to take the game into their own hands. What a great dribble. We said there weren't a lot of aerial plays, but that was a great one. Just possesses the ball in the air, takes it all the way home, and it's also going to take UConn home to that W. They're going to be winning here today. 2 wins in a row these last 2 weeks. Fairfield, they put up a great effort. These games, they were close. The first one and the third one in particular. 6-1, or the second one, am I saying? Second one at 6 goals. That's what I'm thinking of. Not super close there. A bit of a one-sided affair that time around, but other than that, this was a very close and exciting matchup.
Absolutely, and that was a very close and exciting matchup, and unfortunately 3 games in a row, Fairfield just could not find the footing that they were looking for. We see they actually had more shots on goal there, 6 versus UConn's 5, so that's something to keep in mind as well, as they were very close. They just unfortunately never found the goals that they were looking for.
And that means UConn was shooting at 80%. They hit 4 out of 5 shots. That's very impressive. They didn't need to shoot a lot. They just needed to convert, and they did. And they will win this series, just like you said. We're going to be taking a very short break. We'll be back with an interview with one of those players from UConn in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
What is is going on, everybody? Welcome back to our final moment here, at least between Jag and myself at EGF Rocket League. It's going to be the University of Connecticut with that 3-0 victory over Fairfield. Now we get to interview Droys. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
Doing great. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for joining us. We love to hear from players who are, in the field. We can only analyze so much from our end, so it's great to hear people living in the moment. So my question for you is actually before the moment, rather. How did you feel going into this matchup against Fairfield? Did you think that you guys were going to be able to clutch out a 3-0 super early on the way that you did, or did you expect things to be a little bit closer?
I think in this matchup we were a little unsure because I don't think we've ever played them or seen them play before, and we've seen that they have like a similar record to us. So we were pretty wary, but we've been playing pretty well these past few weeks. So I think we were pretty confident going in.
Absolutely. You guys definitely did a great job tonight.
Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, you said your guys are on a 5-game win streak right now.
Something like that. I don't want to jinx it, but
Yeah, no
Knock on
jinxes,
wood.
knock on
spring,
wood.
the spring
yeah.
split is going well for us, I'd say.
Yeah, that's something I remember talking about earlier on. I was saying you guys really have been on a big upswing since the spring split start. We've seen that in a few different titles with a few different teams, but I want to talk more about this game in particular. That first matchup was very close, 2-1 being the final score. Then second matchup, you guys came out on fire, 6-2, and then the third one, 4-2, a bit closer, but still pretty one-sided by the end of things. So kind of what changed between the first matchup and the second and third one? What really like let you guys play your game and start to get ahead early on?
I think in the first matchup we were playing a little more cautious, trying to be wary of to see what they could do because we've never seen them before. We had no idea what their ranks were. But I think after the first match, we kind of had an idea of how they kind of rotated and had their positions on the field. So I think in the second and the third game, we kind of took advantage of like the midfield space that they gave us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you guys definitely played a little bit. You played very defensive in that first game. We talked about that a lot on stream. Not that you heard us, but you guys definitely started to show a lot more aggression toward the later half of the matchup, and I think that really did pay off for you, obviously, as you were able to 3-0. So a question that I do want to ask you that I forgot to ask our other interviewee today. Is there anything that you'd like to plug, either for yourself or for your school? Is there anybody you'd like to shout out while we've got you here?
Well, I'll return the favor to my teammate. We like to shout out our girlfriends. They always come to watch.
Oh, that's so
It's,
sweet.
yeah, it's always great having them watch and supporting the Twitch chat. And also to everybody in the Yukon Gaming Club and the Yukon Rocket League Discord. There's always people that are excited to watch us. Always in the chat, helps keep us motivated. It's always nice to build a community around something you love to do. So shout out
Absolutely,
to them.
absolutely. Yeah, awesome.
Very
That is
awesome.
awesome. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining us for the interview. We do got to keep it rolling so we can keep our schedule kind of on track. But I can extend your congratulations to your team. I mean, that is 5 weeks is not an easy feat, and I'll knock on wood right now as I say it. But
Yep.
yeah, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And with that, folks, Jag and I, as well as our wonderful producer Juke behind the scenes, we're going to be calling it a night, but there's a whole new team coming in for the remaining 3 games I think that they're going to have left tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Like I mentioned already, a huge shout out to Juke, our producer and great friend in the back line, and shout out to Jag for being here with me today, and a shout out to all of you for watching. We've got to get this show on the road to make sure we stay on schedule, but check your posture, drink some water, and don't forget to love each other. We'll see you guys next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to EGF. My name is Quantum Deathcat, and I'm here with South Beach Ice. How are you, my guy?
I'm doing good, Quantum. Great to be here today. We got Canisius and Hub going at it against each other in Rocket League, and I'm excited to see if these two schools go at it tonight.
Yeah, I am interested as well. Canisius, it's a mess season for them so far, and Hofstra are doing a little bit better. I see these two teams going head-to-head, and I think this is a 5-game series, actually. Judging just by the stats, maybe there's something new to both of these teams, and that maybe gives them the advantage. But right now, just looking purely at the stats, it looks like it's going to be a 4 or 5-game series.
Yes, exactly. I'm excited to see how these guys are going to compete against each other. I'm going to expect to see some aerial game. We're going to expect some hard defense. It's always great to see a lot of defense, but at the end of the day, you need to score some goals. You need to toss them out.
We might see some 3-1 games, 3-2 games, right?
Exactly. I think that's quite the possibility we'll see right here. Just game 5s all day, or just game 5s through this best of 5 series. So yeah. I'm excited.
5-goal games, very possible, very possible. We might see some overtimes. That might be very interesting indeed. And so we will be down on the pitch soon enough. Do you know anything about these teams? Who's going up in the head-to-head? Do you know any of the players on this team?
Well, I'm not quite familiar with these two players or these schools per se, but all I'll say is that, you know, if you guys are doing pretty good and you guys are still in this streak you guys are on right now, doing a little winning streak, there's going to be quite the competition between these two schools fighting to get into the top 10 spot if they're not already in there, which I'm still trying to pull up those stats to figure out if they are or not.
I don't think either are, but they are pushing themselves into it. If I
there you go, that works. But right now we got to the get play, so here we go.
Yes, game 1 is underway between Canisius College and Hofstra University, and I don't want to give my my bad take on who's gonna win this series because honestly, I don't know. I honestly don't know. My heart's saying Canisius. The stats are saying Hofstra.
Yeah, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, the stats don't lie. The stats are there for a reason in terms of shots, assists, saves, and shots taken, whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's just how you take them off. And another important stat that matters is defense. And it doesn't get a bunch of importance. You know, we get all the saves, but, you know, there's also steals. You can get a good steal off of each other. And that way, you guys can put yourself in a good position to score, get yourself in a perfect position to keep the game moving forward, keep that momentum with you guys. So this is going to be interesting to see.
It's important to get the giveaways and takeaways. It's important to really just set yourselves up in the right position and rotate properly, and that's what's been happening over at Hofstra. They've had an earlier opportunity. They missed the wide open net though with the sharp angled shot. Magic tries to keep the ball into the zone. Archon as well with him there, and the ball is still not cleared out because Happy Camper happily keeping it into the zone. They are doing wonders right now for their offense as the defense from Canisius College coming out strong.
Yeah, exactly. It's already a pretty hot start. Still a big defensive battle, just denying each other a goal. If they get that defense right there, perfect at the close to the midfield. Almost gave up a goal right there. Hofstra did, but good thing their player was there to stop it. But it was a great, just as you said, these defensive stops right there are going to be super, super important for each other.
Very important indeed. Magic picks up that ball, gets a weak little flick on it, and it's going to be easily picked up by the Hofstra player. There's a demo on I'm Stuff, and Happy Camper finds the wide open net. The demolition coming in. Look at this. That leaves the net wide open because the last man back went for it, thinking that he had a defender behind him. His teammate gets absolutely blown up. The net is left undefended.
Man, that was a great demolition because you just sacrificed their player, basically. Not really sacrificed them. You just took out another player. That almost was another goal for him. But that's a wide open one, and oh, that was a quick save. Impressive for the boys at Canisius trying to get a score. But going back to the demolition, as we just saw another one, that's important because you just took away the player on the ball to try to get the stop. So if you neutralize that defense, that's going to be super helpful.
Yeah, exactly, because when you get demoed, right, you're out of the play for 3 seconds. Not just out of the play, you respawn in a random location on your side of the field, right? And so if your team's on the offensive zone, you're 6, 7, 8 seconds sometimes before you can have any impact again. That ruins rotation, oftentimes leading to the ball when it's in the offensive zone coming back into your defense.
Exactly, and now we see almost a nice play, but the Canisius defense is just there to stop the ball from going in, and now we're going to get a lot of plays to try to clear the ball over the field. Their defense is definitely goal-oriented, and I probably said that a little too soon as they just gave up that goal, putting Hofstra up 2-0.
I mean,
Hofstra
Hofstra is known for being an offensively minded team. They are really good at their offensive rotations. They're able to keep the ball in the zone, and we see that on full display right here. But Canisius College has always been a defensive team. They know how to position themselves on the defense, but right now Hofstra are just overwhelming them with some good rotational offense. They aren't often missing the ball, which is allowing them to continue on in the offensive zone without much resistance.
Exactly, and going back to that last goal from Hofstra, that was a terrific angle from Happy Camper, just turning around, getting the break on just in time, and then getting the hop just in time, right for the goal. And that was a great pass. I forgot who passed the ball to him, but that was a great assist for his teammate. The unnamed hero, we will soon find out.
A Humble Potato makes the save there, up in the air with 60 seconds on the clock. The 1 minute warning rings. 2-0 is the lead for Hofstra, with a demo in the offensive zone for Hofstra. And so now it's going to be scrambled eggs as they try to make the saves here and pull out the rotations as they properly have been. They don't want to double commit on these balls. That's the last man back who makes a good clear out there, and they're able to keep that ball out of the zone for the current moment. Very well played after getting demoed there.
That was some pretty good swarming defense from Hofstra, just going really, really aggressively towards the ball. If they just keep up that defense, that last 20 seconds or so coming down to the wire, this is going to be going to an easy game 2 for them, and they got to feel pretty good about themselves.
Definitely. Potato trying to pass it over Camper, can't do so, and Camper gets a good 50, not allowing for the shot to go on net or to be dangerous in any shape, way, or form. Magic coming in with the ball after Archon demos Potato. The goal is wide, and Archon with the last opportunity puts it center for his teammate Happy Camper. That would have been a goal had there been any more time on the clock, but it's still a victory still for this Hofstra team. As Canisius falls 2-0, we get to see some Hofstra offense and some great Canisius defense. 6-2 are the saves, but the shots are 9-2 in favor of Hofstra. Ouch.
Exactly, yes. Canisius definitely needs to step up those shots. They've been tremendous on the defensive side. 6 saves, as you just said. That's definitely really impressive if you're Canisius. But you got to get those shots too. You got to get those scores. You know, the defense, you know the term, defense wins championships. That's very true, but you need to get some offense in there, because at the end of the day, those are what puts you in position to win the game at the end of the day.
We say a good defense leads to championships because normally a good defense leads to a good offense, right? And so in this situation, this defense is just stuck in their own zone. Right? They're able to defend, they're able to make saves, they're able to rotate, but they're unable to get the ball out. And when they do, they can't keep in the offensive zone like Hofstra can. They don't have that that position, that rotation, right? The structure. That's the word I was trying to find. The structure that Hofstra have on the offense, right? They don't have it on the defense. And Canisius, the structure they have on the defense, they don't have it on the offense. So let's see if they come out here differently in game 2.
Exactly, and you know, Hofstra just put themselves in a good position where they can be a little more riskier on the defense. There was an instance or two where there's almost a wide open goal, but 2 defenders for Hofstra just swarmed that ball, not letting it get a chance to make it towards the goal at all, leaving the goal a little bit wide open, but then the speed they brought in that was able to swarm the goal. So they're trying to make a good defensive effort, but now we're seeing a little bit of that from Hofstra. They're playing 2 cars at the goal just at that last shot taken. So now they need to transition that into offense, play it a little bit down the field, down into the orange territory, and get some points off.
Yeah, and they're playing some solid defense right now, but you do feel that they're scrambling just a little bit. The shot is wide, demo comes in, but Humble Potato misses it. And so that's going to lead to a stagnation in the offense. And now they're able to get the ball cleared out thanks to good rotations. That's a good 50, though. Happy Camper can't get the ball out. That's a double miss after the double commit, and that ball is cleared out. That is beautiful. That double commit, though, is not beautiful if you're Canisius. You really needed that offense, and, well, the double commit miss is very costly.
Exactly. That was almost very deadly right there, and so was that. Well, that could have been, if you just got the right angle right there, that would have been an easy shot. How about here? Oh, just a little unfortunate off the ricochet of his own, off the defender. That was Lexia. I don't think I said that name right, but man, Yeah, that's how you say it. That was just a little lob off the backboard in basketball, but in this case, the backboard was the defender. Oh, no. Okay,
Oh,
just
what a
out
save,
writing.
but
No.
it's in.
Do you believe in magic? Because he just got 2 goals all the way from distance. Man, things aren't looking good for Canisius right now. You need to just transition back to the defense. I know I said you got to get some points off, but just gotta collect your thoughts, get on defense, communicate a little bit better on who's gonna get the ball first.
Right, because if you don't know who's on first, right? The second question is going to be what's on second, and well, no one wants to know what's on second, right?
Exactly, because if you don't, it's just a lot of stuff is going to break loose if you don't get that stuff in order. Here might be a potential goal, but no one was just at the right angle, and it looks like Lexia was trying to get an angle, but instead tried to control the ball, try to get the steal away from the Hofstra defenders. So now it's good. We see Hofstra sticking a little bit to the aerial game. We see, especially on defense, just like as the ball clears up in the air, they're just flying towards it.
Yeah, they're trying to keep it up in the air because I see it too.
Wide
Hofstra have a bit of a weakness on the offense when it comes to the aerials. They're trying to keep the ball down, and look at this. Some great passing from Magic. Once again, beautiful placement by him. Able to read where the defender, after he hits the ball the first time, the rebound will fall. He's able to find where the rebound will be and is able to get a second touch on it. That is the Magic touch that is needed.
Yes, that was a beautiful, beautiful pass. He basically flipped his own car over to get that pass to whoever needed it. Magic is definitely making some plays right here. He reminds me, in terms of basketball, the Magic of the great NBA, Magic Johnson, making a bunch of plays off the scoring and passing ability. Definitely kind of taking the point guard position of this Rocket League team for Hofstra.
South Beach, do you believe in Magic?
No, I definitely do.
I see some on the field right now. Magic with the hat trick so far is doing very, very well for himself, as that is going to be the first goal for Canisius College. Popped up in the air. Humble Potato flips it over one as he gets demoed for his troubles. The miss by Archon leaves the net wide open for Stuff.
You know, I think the Canisius needed some magic for them going, and it looks like they got it with over 2 minutes left to play. Just a tremendous pass from Potato, and then the Stuff just came in just to capitalize on the very first score of their series. So they just need to get 2 more. You got 1:45, you got plenty of time, and now you got plenty of time to tie this up. Canisius looks like they're coming alive finally on the offensive end.
Yeah, that's all because of Glixie's bump there right in front of the net. You might have seen it early in the replay, but there was a bump right on the far side post where the player was coming in to make that save. Glixie bumps them out of the way. That is a great bump and allows the ball to go into the net because there is no defender there to, defend. As Happy Capper, he's going to find a goal here, and that goes off the defender, I think.
A little bit. I think they did touch it. It was definitely more of a backboard pass, but Happy Camper came from the air. I knew that was just the right angle you wanted to need if you just play the mid-air game. Man, and now Hofstra just capitalized on their lead. They knew what was coming for them. You know, Canisius is starting to come alive. They needed an answer right there, so they brought their offense back to life. Looks like they're doing it once again, sticking to the aerial game.
Yeah, I think their aerial game is pretty strong. Hofstra, not exactly having an issue keeping up with it, but it's definitely what's going right for Canisius, and especially the counterattacks. Right now, Hofstra making a few mistakes here and there, and it's being capitalized on by Canisius College. Can Archon get back in time? Yes, he can. And that is beautifully played, but the ball is still in the offensive zone. That's a miss, but there's a double miss, and Doink is going to allow the ball to get out.
Man, Hofstra just lucked out there on that last possession, you know, that was wide open, but Akron just got the boost he needed. Good thing he had all the boost to just get to that ball and then just clear it out and then try to make the pass. And then I didn't quite see what exactly happened on that last miss. I don't know if it was just wrong angle. It was just a miss? Just a wrong angle?
Yeah.
All right. Just a miss. That's all it is. It always happens to the best of teams. But really, and now with Almost 20 seconds left. Ah, that's definitely more Magic. More Magic Johnson.
More Magic. Well, here's why I said oh no before this goal even goes in. I'm stuffed. He's on the back wall and he's trying to pass to his teammate. That is right next to him. He didn't see how close his teammate was. He flips the ball towards the center, thinking that that's where his teammate is when he should have just dropped it. And so instead of passing it to his teammate, he passes it right to Magic, who pops it in.
And how about the hustle from Magic? Just getting all the boost he needed just to speed over to the right side of the ball, and then get a little power turn and just knock it into the goal.
And that's going to be it for game number 2. 5-2 this game, the entire series so far, 7-2 in favor of Hofstra. They've been playing quite the good offensive game, but the offense from Canisius has awoken. The shots are tied at 8. And it's just the defense now, right? Because before, their defense was good, but they had no offense. Now they have they have all the offense, but they have no defense.
Exactly, and you know, we raved about Canisius' defense all day so far, and by all day I mean the last 15 minutes or so. But really, they just need to step that up. We saw the shots again, and they're terrific. But, you know, that's 8 shots, but you got to make those shots too, because I think Hofstra was 50%, you know, having 8 shots as well, but they made 4 goals total. And that's, if I'm doing my math right, I promise I passed college algebra. It's about 25%. That was 25% shooting from Canisius. So they need to get that efficiency better for the goals. Defense needs to show up once again, just in and out. So if you have to, just play someone. If you guys play a 2-2-1 position on offense where you have 2 guys on goal and then another defender on midfield. So when the ball goes over towards their goal, that midfield player can just quickly rush over and try to stop that ball.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? Is that they're playing okay, I think, because 25% is normally a team's average, right, for scoring percentage. So the fact that it was 50% for, actually more than 50%, 63.3% for Hofstra, is 62.5. Sorry, 62.5% for Hofstra is very concerning, right? If you're a Canisius College fan, because the defense was very much so strong in the first game, right? Leaving Hofstra to a 20% shooting percentage. And I'm Stuff is going to start off Canisius right with the first goal really early on, 34 seconds in. That's just a miscue from the Hofstra. No one goes for this.
Yes, and I'm Stuff had the right stuff right there. It looks like he was trying to go for the aerial save, just didn't quite hit it in the air, just missed it barely. Just, you know, yeah, I think honestly, yeah, I think that was the right move to go up in the air, because I think that ball was going in either way without touching the ground. So you just gotta get your angling right once you're up in the air. Aerials aren't easy, not gonna lie. I try them and I'm terrible. But you know, if you're gonna make an aerial save, that's gonna be your only bet. So you gotta fly up in the air and try to swarm that ball.
Well, that's why these guys are playing here, because, well, they're exceptionally skilled at this game. Most of these players here are either in Grand Champ or higher, if I do recall properly. So it's exactly what you'd hope for, right?
I mean, if a school, if a university brings you in to play some video games, or sorry, esports, then you got to be pretty good either way. Just the fact that these guys work on their crafts every day to practice it, because it's becoming an art form for them. So they got to be the best at it. And wide open shot from Akron, not really quite wide open, but just a great pass from Magic once again. Oh, it was a little wide open, just a little. I'm Stuff just tried to get a save, had an opportunity there, just couldn't quite get there on time to try to make the set, try to make the stop, and now it's a tie game.
Now it is a tie game, and well, it's still Canisius' game to win here. I'd say this is Hofstra's series to lose, but Canisius coming out strong. They need to prove to us that not only can they bring the offense like they did in game 2, they can bring the defense as well like they did in game 1. And so here's Canisius College trying to score here. What is Magic doing there? That is some mind games.
I thought he was about to score for the other just like the way he's, he was controlling his car, just motioning towards the ball. Yeah, it just looked, I was a little bit worried there. So good thing it just turned into a defensive stop for Hofstra, and they just gotta be back into the match. And now we're seeing a little bit of pressure coming on from Canisius, but now Hofstra trying to transition that a little bit better. I'm stuffed with a nice clear coming in, and more aerial game from Akron. Oh, that's what a save! Happy Campers definitely got to be happy right there, getting that epic save right there. Probably just going down as a normal save. I couldn't quite tell, but nonetheless, it was epic either way. No matter what the stat book tells you, just right on time, denying what's the score? Canisius, denying Canisius.
Yeah, they've been denied, and with a minute and 40 seconds left, Happy Camper's gonna bring this one in. Gets it past all three, but the shot is wide, and it's gonna go back over to Archon as everyone's been able to reset themselves back into position and get the ball out of the zone. That was quite a great opportunity, but it's once again put wide. The same thing happened in game one, if I recall correctly.
I believe you're right. I mean, just right there, just that wrong angle. I mean, actually, the angle was right. I just don't think he had enough boost to just get to the side of the ball, try to outrun it. But just missed it was just a missed shot, unfortunately, and he couldn't quite control it up in the air while in the ball. That was just a little bit of a missed opportunity there for Hofstra, trying to put this game away.
Blixie with a good redirect there, but it's going to be stopped. Blixie now puts it back into the zone. Humble Potato got bumped though, but it's going in! Straight from the sidewall! Oh my! Canisius, they take another lead!
That was from mid-court or midfield. That was impressive. I mean, wow, that was just a great press from Humble Potato, staying humble.
Yes.
2-1. This is going to be a game all of a sudden.
This is quite the match so far, quite the series as well. Oh wow, I'm stuffed. He might have just put this one away. 48 seconds. I mean, there's plenty of time to come back down from 2, but that is the goal that they've been looking for. Just a dagger is now pointed at the throats of Hofstra for this game 3. They're saying we're not getting swept today. Can Hofstra do anything about it?
Yeah, they need to start putting on the urgency right there, but oh my goodness, that was a little missed shot from Potato, but I mean, the aggression we're seeing from Canisius. Oh, stuff. Again, now there's that defense we were ready about from Canisius. Man, they're turning it up, turning it on right now. I haven't seen this aggression from these last 2 games. And now it's...
No, right? They didn't have that hunger in the last few games. Not only did they bring a good offense, they brought a good defense to this game, and they wholeheartedly deserve this W for this game 3. That's a good save by Glixie, and that's going to be all she wrote for this game number 3 as that ball hits the ground. It's a 2-1 series. The reverse sweep is started by Canisius.
Yes, and we talked about transition defense with these guys. 5 saves for Canisius. I believe 2 or 3 of them just came at that very final minute, denying Hofstra any chance to put this game away. So if they just need to set that up more often. Stuff is kind of their leading scorer, I believe, but they're pretty much all even on scoring for the most part. But I think Stuff has just been taking the most shots. And then the passing ability from Potato, they just need to keep that up, and just that aggression, they all of a sudden just got that surge coming in. So they just need to keep up that aggression. And then Hofstra, they came out swinging in the first 2 games. They just need to find that energy again and match Canisius coming into this game 4.
Yeah, the Canisius team just playing really strongly now. They figured out how to play defense in game 1, right? It took them a little bit. They played amazing defense, though. In game number 2, they scrapped the defensive game. They went straight for the offense, seeing what they could do up against Hofstra's defense. And now they put both together, and, well, this is the product that they give Canisius. the team of my heart, as I said, right? In my heart, I feel like Canisius might win this one, even though Hofstra on paper are the better team. Hofstra started off strongly. Can Canisius come out with the reverse sweep? It wouldn't be the first upset that we've seen this season. In fact, there would be one of many.
Exactly.
Ooh,
Oh,
what a goal!
a little glitch maybe right there, as we saw. Just a little ricochet. Oh no, that's just an amazing play.
That's an amazing play. That was no glitch.
Yeah, no glitch whatsoever. When when I say glitch, I don't mean like, oh, the game's flawed or anything like that. I mean, that just looks, it was so good that it had to be a glitch. But Happy Camper just took that almost there, but then met at the goal post by Humble Potato. There's that defense swarming that goal. Oh my goodness, 3 times. They're not going to go down as saves, but I mean, that was a good goal line stand from Canisius just then.
Yeah, very good. Goal line saves. What a bump there! And Archon is going to find the goal because Happy Camper, look at this. Look at this play by Happy Camper. Good bump right on stuff. He's out of the play. Defense no longer there. It's like if you could kick the soccer goalie in the nuts and leave your teammate to score it, you know? That's exactly what they just did there.
That's a very powerful metaphor you just gave, or a powerful comparison, and that's going to live with me for the rest of my life. But, I mean, I tell you what, that was just good, great. That was just great teamwork. Akron saved the, Pump. Oh, my goodness. I'm losing my train of thought as Hofstra is just raining down soccer balls into these goals. But either way, I'm just going to put it this way. Canisius, we need to see that aggression you guys had again, because that's going to be the factor. Just be angry. Just be angry. Play angry.
I don't think this is a Canisius thing. This is definitely Hofstra's doing.
Yeah.
They have started off so good, so strong. They are mega aggressive. The bumps and the demos are coming in even stronger than they have been before, and it's forcing double commits, it's forcing errors, and it's not something that Canisius are really able to stop because they don't force errors, and they don't really stop Hofstra from doing anything. So, at the end of the day, when Canisius was just playing better, it's because Hofstra technically just letting them do it, right? They were letting them play up to their strengths because they weren't punishing with the bumps with the demos, and now here they come back with 3 goals in the first 90 seconds, and it's a great amount of offense. But Canisius still in the game, 180 seconds, and that's more than enough for a goal every minute.
Exactly. You know, I think you were totally right. I think Hofstra, I think they're just playing it like they want it way more than Canisius does right now. We just need to see more commitment from Canisius saying they want it even more. Akron trying to get that play. Oh, no, never mind. I thought that was going to be an impressive aerial dunk in there, but I was incorrect. So now Canisius just needs to find a way to get that cleared, and I'm Stuff is going to be helping out on that factor, just getting that save and the clear, putting it into Hofstra territory.
Pops up in the air, Magic, he's gonna pick that one up, pops it up in the air, going for the double tap!
Nope.
He hits it, but it's off the back wall, his teammate off the crossbar! The Magic falls off of the back wall and he hits it! What a play by Magic here! Look at this, as he comes back down, he's actually gonna hit that ball from getting cleared out by Potato! That is a complete accident, and once again, Magic is in the right place at the right time, absolutely just places his car right exactly where you'd want it to, as if a magic trick were performed. And that is why he is their leading scorer right now, because those plays are, dare I say, magical.
Exactly. I think that's where he get his name from. And I tell you what, that was just, there's a little bit of unfortunateness, you know. I think Canisius just played defense as well as they could, but then they just lost sight of Magic, their leading scorer, and he was just waiting right at the goal, and the ball just going into the goal. Maybe Canisius thought the ball was going in, and then they lost sight, but then they realized a little too late, nope, it's not going in, we gotta quickly get it away from our goal. But Magic just right there to feed it into the goal, just at the right time. A great rebound, do I say so, from Magic.
80 seconds left on this clock. Demo coming in on Glixie, and that's a 1v1 between Magic and Stuff, and Stuff's gonna win that one. Ball is still in the offensive zone with 70 seconds left to go. They need to score 4 goals, and that's gonna be the first one. And could they come back here? 3 goals needed in 65 seconds, and then another one in overtime just to get us to game 5 here.
You know, the goal like that from Humble Potato, just being all the way from the other side of the field, tells me, hey, they're going to step up this aggression right here with 1:05 left to play. So we just need to see that surge once again. You guys do not have so much time to get three goals, so it's a little bit, it's pretty much unlikely, but I'm not going to count them out just quite yet.
That's a good opportunity.
Oh,
What a
no.
it hits the back wall. The shot is wide in the net. It's not wide open exactly, but Humble Potato makes the save on the hook shot from Happy Camper. Magic shot is also just slightly wide. It hits the crossbar and rolls out. My goodness, Hofstra are not giving them an inch whatsoever. And every time they were given one, Canisius has scored and they took the entire mile, but Magic, he's going to create his own space. He's going to create the mistakes on the side of Canisius. What does Stuff do here? He just hopes and prays. There's nothing else you can do.
Exactly, you know, I think just Hofstra, like we said it before, they just want this match way more than Canisius at this point, you know? I think at the end of the day, you know, if they just played out a little more aggressive, they recognized the game that Canisius put on the last game, and they just needed to match that energy, if not increase it more, which I believe they did this time. Now all they have to do is just play keep away, let the timer go down, and they're running away with this victory.
Yeah, and they wholeheartedly deserve this victory as they're gonna put one in last second, and everyone on the field gets demoed with that goal explosion. That is GG's, ladies and gentlemen. Hofstra University will take this series 3-1. Canisius College made it close, but at the end of the day, Hofstra are gonna win, and they only let Canisius College score 7 goals all series long.
Man,
Or 6. 6, my bad.
Yeah, I believe you're right, 6. But I tell you what, that was just just the aggression we've seen from Hofstra, just in and out. Magic just being relentless at the goal from, really, we saw him from just like around the goal, not like far away, but like he just had a bunch of contests and he just was ready for that matchup. Whoever it was going to be, he was ready for it. We saw that little doink off the top bar, hitting down to the ground, and he's just like, yep, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm gonna take it down. And then just like, you know, plays from Akron and Happy Camper, giving the assists and the saves necessary to keep them in the game. And of course, they made some shots as well. So just a all-around game from Hofstra. You know, they just came out ready to play. Canisius was doing pretty good late in this game, but it just wasn't enough to keep it up.
No, exactly, and I think that Hofstra just, I don't know if they didn't show up in game 3 or if that was just Canisius fighting back the inevitable, because Hofstra, when they turned it up, right, and they played that 5 minutes of Rocket League and they actually played it to perfection, right, just like in game 1, they really just won it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a little bit of a break here. It's going to take a little bit, maybe a solid 10-15 minutes. We'll be back soon. Stay tuned. We'll be back here with some more Rocket League, 2 more matches tonight.
Exactly.